out there. Temperatures overnight tonight falling to near freezing in Philadelphia.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. If you have a spicy side, Taco Bell now has a menu to match. Taco Bell's new caliente sauce made with red jalapenos is the spicy side of Cantina chicken. Try it today, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact store for availability.
Shop Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale. See a sleep expert and get matched with your perfect bed so you sleep better at night. You'll even get 120 nights to love it or your money back. Restrictions apply.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
Yo, let's go. Thirsty Thursday, Throwback Thursday, all of the above. Good afternoon, Daily Ticket. It's Thursday, right?
It's Thursday.
I had to ask my co-host, Sam Oshtry, who's been all around the world.
I'm not the one to ask.
All around the world and back. Here he is, Sam Oshtry in studio, fresh, literally fresh off a flight and a train. He did it all yesterday. We'll hear a little bit more about what the heck he was doing. Global. And I don't know, man. Did I not follow you on Instagram? I need more. If you're gonna go take trips around the world, I need more posts, more pics on the page.
You're right. More coming soon. Okay. I had a disposable, and part of it was a little.
Wait, what?
I had a disposable camera,
like the green thing.
Yeah, like one of those old ones where you got to get the film developed.
What the hell made you buy one of those?
Because I'm an old school guy. The pictures are better. It's a new feel.
You can't even zoom in on those things.
They're great. I don't like all this new technology. You got to go with the old developed film. It's better. What? It's coming in. I already brought it to the shop. First thing I did when I got back, brought it to the shop. It's getting developed. I have the next 24 hours. But it was also a little bit of a work trip. Visiting a lot of international basketball clubs around the world. So there will be a lot more content to come.
What are you cooking
by
the
the draft. A lot about European basketball.
What do you got in the mix? Are you working on a book? Are you working on can you share?
Yeah, so it's a book / series of stories about European basketball and how it's become so popular in the NBA. So I visited a bunch of basketball clubs, and not only the concepts, sets, the philosophies of European basketball, but the players. Like over the last decade, 10 to 15 years, the international basketball has really become so prominent in the NBA, where the players are just dominating. You know, if you're a team in the NBA and you're drafting, you'd rather take an international prospect right now because of the development they went through in their youth than a kid from America, because those guys are having more success. So I kind of went over to find out why. And so this was a long-term project. I also had a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. It was a lot of fun. I have friends over there.
You should be having fun.
So it was a mixture of fun, probably more fun than work, because I have some friends over there in the countries I visited, but also visited with some basketball clubs, working on stories, been talking to a lot of people around the sport, trying to figure out when and how this trend started, where international basketball players have really taken over the NBA.
Yeah, look, two parts. Number one is we went through yesterday, and you saw it on the timeline, as far as if you were to draft a player for the upcoming NBA playoffs, you know, just one by one, who are you taking? First four off the board for us were all international players.
Guys. And those have been the MVPs of the league.
Correct. So that's one. And then two, I would bring up, and this is a nice segue. We're going to get into it a little bit as far as Florida is concerned, as far as what we're seeing with the conference tournaments that are happening at this point in time. We got 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken, going off right now. Of course, all next week, front and center for us. And then on 16th, we'll be filling out the brackets. The madness will be here. But it is an interesting season from the standpoint of, when you talk about college hoops, and you look at a team like Auburn, but you look at Louisville, you look at some of these other teams that are contenders to win it all. Maybe not on the level that Auburn is, but one of the big things that they have working for them is a veteran leadership. Guys that have been there. The age has gotten so much older. I think it It went up by a full year, if I'm not mistaken, versus last year. And then I read an article that said even next year it's gonna jump up another year as a year older as well for average age on that team. And I would just ask, like, okay, do you think that might eventually change how NBA scouts, how NBA teams draft, or is this more so what we're teaching these kids at their youth level?
Yeah, I really think it starts with the youth, because a lot of things that I learned and discovered is when you're a player overseas, these guys are learning how to play team basketball. They're practicing, their practices and their player development sessions are all within the team setting. So they know how to move off the ball. Like, they learn how to play off the ball, which is an essential skill when you play college basketball or in the NBA. You don't see that in youth basketball here. It's AAU, where it's a lot of one-on-one. Player development is all skill-based. So you might be physically and more skillfully gifted if you're an American player. But if you're a European player, you're going to know how to operate within a team. And that's more important for these scouts. So yeah, the age matters, but I really think it's more the development. And also, these guys, like Luka was playing professional basketball when he was 15 years old. Like, you're not having that type of, that's how you become better, playing better competition at younger ages. There's more practicing over there. You're playing up. Here, you're playing 3 games a day in AAU. You're playing guys your own age. You're just dominating them. It's all one-on-one basketball. It's not team-oriented basketball. And it's not how you develop as a basketball player. So yeah, you might, these college players who are getting 4 or 5 years in college, they might be more ready, but then they're aging out, as opposed to these international players.
Fair.
Those guys are 18, 19 years old, and they've gotten all that development from 14 to 18. So they're younger, so teams are more likely to draft them.
Same thing with like Wemby. Wemby was playing, professional basketball at a young age. It's pretty cool. Good stuff, man. I look forward to hearing a little bit more about the trip. And I'll be full disclosure, I probably could not find the places that you visited on a map or a globe or whatever it is, but we will have some fun with that, as we often do here on the Daily Ticket Jam-Packed Show. Julian Edlow from DraftKings Sportsbook going to join us at 3:30 via the stream, and then 5 o'clock, all things NBA. Sean Barnard, we're going to run 3 wide picks and roll. Myself, Sam Oshtry from The Score, and Sean Barnard, who also represents the folks over at DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, so how was your viewing capabilities? Like, and be honest, it's all good. It's, look, there have been plenty of teams that haven't been playing their best in the NBA, but when it came to watching these games, how difficult was it?
Yeah, so I did my best. I didn't really sleep. I didn't really sleep a lot.
No. What was the time difference?
So here's the thing. The time difference was 7 hours. So there was 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. nights because we were out. And like those nights when you go out, when you're out there, you go out at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Come on.
So there was like 6 a.m., 7 and 8.
Nothing good happens at 1 o'clock in the morning after.
And then you're right. And then there were 6 a.m., 7 a.m. nights just because I like stayed up to watch some of these 2 o'clock a.m. tip-offs over there when they were 7:30 here. Like, there was a couple of college games I had to watch. The Maryland game against Michigan State, my heart was broken.
Ooh.
I wish I didn't watch it. I wish I didn't watch it,
Ooh.
but I did. And that was I set an alarm that I wasn't out that night, but I set an alarm for 2 a.m. to wake up, get my VPN on my computer, have to pay for that to watch all these streams. Heartbroken. Nuggets, Lakers, I stayed up to watch. There was a few other NBA games I couldn't miss that I stayed up. And then really just the next day watching the highlights, reading up on everything. It was the most throughout an NBA season I haven't watched, but I still feel like I have a good grasp.
Oh,
and
yeah, of course.
It was a decent time to miss. Post Super Bowl, before March Madness, I was like, all right, if I'm going to take this trip, this is the time.
Yeah, there haven't been too many injuries to keep track of. Kentucky dealt with a little bit of an injury that's going to hurt them. But other than that, as far as professionally, off the top of my head, I don't think we're seeing too much. Kyrie, of course, was the big one that I'm sure you did catch wind of. But at the end of the day, we roll on, and it's the first week of March. And you saw a little bit of with, Oklahoma City last week, where it's like, man, they've been competing at such a high level. Eventually, it's going to come back down. And even though they were still able to find a way to win those games against the Nets or whoever it was last week and the week before, bottom line is that it wasn't that Oklahoma City team that you knew, oh, by the way, it's the second best record. But SGA front and center, 4 games in the last 19 days of 50-plus points. Last night goes for 40-plus. OKC, looks like the team that could very well get the job done. But we will talk NBA in just a little bit. And as I said, 5 o'clock out, we're going to be hitting a ton of NBA with Sean Barnard and Sam Oshtry from The Score. But we got to open up with an interesting part of the NFL offseason as far as scheduling is concerned. Next Wednesday is when the year officially kicks off, the new year. But we did just have the franchise tag deadline go down. Nothing really earth-shattering there, but we continue to see some moves that are literally going to dictate team success, of course, roster construction, so on and so forth. And it's early. It's early into this. And yesterday we saw Bosa, and shout out to our Colin Cowherd before us. Yeah, Khalil Mack is no longer with the Chargers either. They have completely changed the way that they are approaching things. And Harbaugh is the real deal. He has opened my eyes to what he was able to do in year one. It's not it's not that I was pulling against him or anything along those lines. I just doubted from the standpoint of think about everything that went into the Chargers preseason last year, where they just moved off of Eckler. They traded who went to Chicago Bears. The receiver went to the Chicago Bears. They got rid of a lot of players last year. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, here's what Harbaugh's approach is.
Keenan Allen.
Thank you. Keenan Allen, which is a big piece to the puzzle.
See, that's
there.
the producing that Collins guy should have done.
It's all right. I should have remembered Keenan Allen. He's been there forever. But ultimately, like, I could not believe that the Chargers were able to at least win games and then all of a sudden make the playoffs. And I know this isn't a pro Justin Herbert station over here, but he did play well in the regular season. And he was a big reason why they were able to have the success that they did. Harbaugh just blew my mind with the success that the Chargers were able to have last year. And then now freeing up over $25 million in cap space by releasing Joey Bosa, who, oh, by the way, just did an interview last year. And he was talking about how he was going to finish his career there with the Chargers. 9 years with the Chargers. And now he is let go. 5-time Pro Bowler. It frees up $25 million in cap. Khalil Mack, Bosa out. It's a new day in LA. And that's all I have to say about that, because I think, look, I know they're in a difficult division. I get it, but showing what they did last year, this is a team that they're going to go out there and get Harbaugh's players. And if they do hit, this is a team that could very well, for my money, give a running for the Kansas City Chiefs in that division.
Yeah, it's a bet on development is really what it is with the Chargers, because they're, like you said, they're going to evaluate Harbaugh's guys, draft those guys, and develop them well. They're like all these older guys, not even that old, but some of the guys they're getting rid of, like Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, those guys, they don't need them anymore. Like the Harbaugh wants his guys to develop, and this is like Harbaugh knows he has stability. Not a lot of organizations or head coaches, general managers know that they have stability where they have to make short-term plays. Harbaugh's not going anywhere. He's a phenomenal football coach. This is his thing to build long-term and try to compete with the best player that football has seen in a long time in Patrick Mahomes in their division. So if Harbaugh's thinking about it from a long-term perspective, he's going, all right, I'm going to look at this from a developmental standpoint and say, let me draft my guys, let me develop them, and let me build out this roster for the next 4, 5, 6 years, because Harbaugh will be there. So you might as well take a bet on some of these younger guys.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. It's definitely Harbaugh. He's bringing his people in. I'm just curious to see what they're able to do. Like Ladd McConkey was awesome. Offensively, they have to do a little bit more, and Justin Herbert needs to improve as well.
He needs help, though. He needs help.
I totally agree with you on that one. Again, I have Sean Barnard in the back of my head, and I know he's like listening, and he's like ready to just fire us.
He really owns so much real estate in the Justin Herbert conversation.
Yeah.
You can't talk about him without thinking about
him, right? Exactly. All right. So again, with Bosa, that was the big news from there. The day before, it came down to Max Crosby and the contract that he signed. If I believe it's the highest non-quarterback contract in the NFL today. Max Crosby out there with the Raiders. He had something to say about Aaron Rodgers. I'll get into that in just a second, because I think that could be a landing spot for Rodgers. If not the Giants, very well could be Vegas. But back home to us, Zach Bond gets the new deal. Huge for the Eagles. Easily the number one called upon, requested player to return that I can remember.
Yeah.
You know, like there have been fan favorites, so on and so forth, but nobody that has played at this type of level. And of course, the success that they had both defensively and as a team. It is intriguing though, because you talk about Saquon Barkley, who got rewarded the day before that.
Yeah.
And he could not have had a better season. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, where he could not have done anything more. He ran for over 2,000 yards, unbelievable team player, stayed healthy, Super Bowl champion, yada, yada, yada. And then I could sit there and tell you Zach Bond did the same thing, just at the linebacker position.
Yeah.
He could not have played any better than last year. Great story.
the host in me wants to say, well, Barkley could have caught that pass.
Oh, it's a good call.
but
Good call.
But obviously that would be the ultimate nitpick. He was phenomenal, and so is Zach Bond. My only thing is, and I love the Zach Bond move. Of course, he should come back. He deserves that payday. Someone was going to pay him monstrous salary if the Eagles weren't going to, but he obviously loved Philadelphia. He appreciates the organization, and it's the coaches are the reason why he was able to succeed in a lot of ways, because recognizing that he needed to change position, he was better in coverage. But I will say, I'm not happy that probably means Josh Sweat and Milton Williams are out the door. Like, those guys were incredibly impactful all year, but really in that Super Bowl, and you saw how important that defensive line is. And look, they have young guys coming up. They're going to continue to invest in that position through the draft. You know how he loves to build through the trenches. But I think you're losing some depth at that position when both those guys, it's not 100% guaranteed yet, but it's pretty much set in stone that Josh Sweat and Milton Williams are going to get big paydays somewhere else, and the Eagles aren't going to be the one to pay them. And I think that's a big loss. And you want to pay Zach Bond, you kind of have to balance that. It's interesting because Howie really never valued the linebacker position for so many years, and now he is. But it's going to be difficult to see those guys walk out the door.
Milton Williams right now, perfect segue, Sam. First of all, just a heck of a draft pick by Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
3rd round selection out of Louisiana Tech. No, I could not have pulled that. Maybe you could have. No. Maybe Mark Henry Jr.
He could
the sickos that do this for a living when it talks to all things NFL draft. Yes. But I could not have pulled that out of my keister. However, I will tell you this. How about this? From the NFL Network, NFL.com, the 101 top free agents of 2025. I pulled it up just to see where Bosa was listed, right? Bosa's not even, I think Bosa was 49, if I'm not mistaken. Number 1 best available.
Who's that?
Milton Williams.
Really?
Milton Williams is the number 1 best available free agent right now.
So I know this is their list, but do you think he's better than Josh Sweat or more valuable?
Man, he played his ass off.
He did. So did Josh Sweat.
Josh Sweat.
That's tough.
That is. Man,
I'm going with Josh Sweat. I think Josh Sweat is more impactful as a pass rusher.
I think I'm more confident with Josh Sweat than I am Milton Williams. But it wouldn't shock me if Milton Williams is the right answer eventually. And I don't think that is something that Howie Roseman could say out loud, but I'm pretty sure we have to be in agreement on that. It is intriguing, though. It says not re-signing Williams sooner may be the rare Howie Roseman decision he'd like back. It's hard to ignore Williams may have been the best defensive player on the field in the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl.
Yeah, look, he in the Super Bowl for sure.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire season, I'm still leaning Josh Sweat, but he's right. Usually Howie can recognize a guy is trending in the right direction, and he'll lock him up to a kind of a discounted deal in some ways. He didn't do that here. And look, you can't really nitpick Howie's moves because he's been incredible all around, but it's going to cost them because Milton Williams is going to get a payday for that exact reason, as you just read somewhere else.
Top 5, Josh Sweat. Number 5 on the list. Sweat has played like a plus starter for nearly his entire 7-year career with the Eagles. He seems likely to leave after taking a pay cut before the 2024 season. So, again, we'll see. Nobody really knows how he's working and trying to bring back a lot of these pieces. And I don't believe that they will be lock, stock, and barrel for Myles Garrett, as some people want to believe.
Yeah,
that
I'm not in on that.
No, definitely not. So hopefully,
Milton Williams is only 2 years younger than Josh Sweat too, so it's not like Josh Sweat's this older player. I'm pretty surprised. I think Josh Sweat is a more valuable free agent. I'm pretty surprised that list has that.
All right, let's stay with the NFL and free agents / trades, and I want to ask you, if we get on over to the wide receiver position, where do you stand with the conversation of DK Metcalf? For my money, DK is an incredible wide receiver, great talent, a little bit of a head case, big body, and has been delivering year after year. Now, is he, like when we really grade these things out, Geno Smith as his quarterback, who played well. I'll give him that. He played a little bit better than I would have thought it would be the case. But I just think DK Metcalf, when you need a player to make a play, that is the guy that I would love to have on my team. And, oh, by the way, a mean SOB that I would love to have on my squad as well. But it is intriguing from the wide receiver position, Sam, because there is a lot to choose from when it comes to the wide receivers in this upcoming offseason. Whether we're talking about trades, which is DK Metcalf, which you got to throw that into the equation. But since this is a sports talk radio show and essentially we're having ourselves a cold beer, Starbucks.
And some Wicked Crisps.
And some Wicked Crisp. Yes, we will be breaking out the Wicked Crisp in just a little bit. But if I asked you to go ahead and tell me who would you rather have for the upcoming season, Chris Godwin or DK Metcalf? All things being equal, Godwin coming off the injury, DK Metcalf healthy, nothing trade, no pieces involved. Just tell me who you prefer, Godwin or DK?
I'm going DK.
Are you?
And the injury matters. Like it does. He's coming off a serious ankle injury where he missed a ton of time because of that. So the injury matters to me. I'm going DK Metcalf. When you think about just the big playability, a guy you can just throw it up to, a guy like AJ Brown, who we've seen Jalen just toss that thing up on some go routes and AJ Brown comes down with it, even if it's underthrown. DK Metcalf is that guy. Like he's a guy, DK Metcalf is the guy you just throw the ball up to and he can go get it because he's that strong a receiver. He's incredibly fast. That unique gift of having strength and speed. He's really an undervalued receiver, and people don't talk about him because the Seahawks' success recently and their passing game and all that. But he can be, with a great quarterback, one of the best wide receivers in the league. So he's the best available trade or free agent, really, you could say, wide receiver on the market. Think about his last few years when he's had Geno Smith at quarterback and some games with Drew Lock here and there. So like not the greatest, even though Geno Smith has had a little bit of a redemption arc, not the greatest quarterback play. Last year he had just under 1,000 yards. He just missed the 1,000-yard mark. The year before he had 1,100 yards. The year before that, over 1,000 yards. Last year he averaged 15 yards per catch. The year before that, almost 17 yards per catch. Not a huge touchdown guy because again, their pass offense has never been phenomenal. That's more on the quarterback, but he's a guy with a great quarterback, could get you 1,500 yards in a season. Totally agree. Is the best wide receiver available.
Only issue is then we have to get real with it. And of course it's a trade and the expectations, the asking price at this point in time, they want a first and a third. Yeah, right. That's fine. You could ask for whatever you want. Yeah. And then you have to pony up and pay the man. Yeah. And that's a huge deal. So we'll see what happens. But I do think out loud, like a team that could use DK Metcalf, can't all teams use him? But what if the Dallas Cowboys were able to get him? What if the Kansas City Chiefs were able to get him? That would
be scary.
What if the Baltimore Ravens were able to get him? What if the Green Bay Packers were able to get DK Metcalf?
All those receivers or all those teams you just named, great quarterback play. Correct. I want to see DK Metcalf with a great quarterback. Another team to throw out there is the Patriots, who are in desperate need of a number one receiver for Drake May. And look, Drake May isn't the quarterback that those other teams have that you mentioned. He's still a project, but he had a great rookie season. By all accounts, he's trending in the right direction. He could be a top 10 to 15 quarterback in this league in the next few years. You pair him with a guy like that, the sky's the limit for that offense and that team. So yeah, there's a lot of teams out there where if you add a guy like DK Metcalf, you can see how the offense will open up. That happened the second AJ Brown landed in Philadelphia. You saw his impact on the offense. You saw his impact on Jalen Hurts. DK Metcalf, wherever he goes, if he goes somewhere, will have a similar impact.
We'll see if he does end up somewhere else. At this point in time, it's something new for the folks out in Seattle. They definitely did not think that this was going to be the case. Remember, Seattle won a bunch of games last year at the end of the season. I think they won 6 out of their last 8 games. We're turning around, new coach. I don't know what it is. I never think Seattle is like a legit contender, even when they were really good. The Legion of Boom is a different day and age.
They were when they went to 2 straight Super Bowls.
Correct. Yeah, that was a different ball game. But even then, I know I was on the Packers when they blew that game on the road in Seattle. So I was always betting against them. I took the Denver Broncos in that Super Bowl. Damn it. So I just have something anti-Pacific Northwest, whatever it may be. Even though, you know what I was looking at today?
What's that?
On DH Gate. I need a jersey for the summertime.
DH Gate.
So I was thinking.
What are we thinking? Football, basketball, baseball?
Always basketball.
Really?
Always basketball.
Baseball jerseys are kind of hot. Not for summer.
I saw exactly. Literally. I saw a Trout jersey that I was thinking about. And then I thought
you said I saw a Trump jersey for a second.
Definitely not. But I would say that the basketball jerseys more line like get me in the summertime. I'll rock them, pool, shore, whatever it may be. So the guys that I'm looking at right now, Bill Walton, old school throwback.
I love that.
Blazers.
I love that.
Right? That won't be a DH Gate purchase. That's going to be Mitchell and Ness. Eventually, one of these times, I'll be able to get that. The DH Gate purchase I was looking at. Austin Reeves, Lakers, purple.
I love Austin Reeves. And we might talk NBA. I know we're talking Lakers later, but I love Austin Reeves. I would like that.
Yes.
Wait, so you're saying the purple base and then some gold?
Yes, with
That's
the gold. I was also thinking about the Luka. I'm not a fan of 77, though. I just can't ride with 77.
It's an interesting number.
The hell is that number?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know actually the backstory behind that number.
And
it's unique, though.
It is very unique. You're right. Oh, and the reason why I brought this up, Kevin Durant, Supersonics.
Wow.
Bang, bang. That's heat, Sam. That's heat right there.
So I was in Greece.
My closet be on fire.
So I was in Greece at one stop, and I met this guy, and they're huge NBA fans in Greece, huge basketball fans. Basketball is the sport in Greece. It's bigger than soccer. It's one of the rare European sports, 100%. Basketball is bigger than soccer in Greece. It's huge, even before Giannis, but really since Giannis obviously has really opened up that sport for them. So I was talking to this guy, and he said, and he was like, "Oh, where you from?" Philadelphia. He said, "Oh, the Sixers." He goes, "They suck." I was like, I know. I try to do like a Greece accent.
That is correct.
Yes. I try to do a Greek accent when I'm talking to these guys. I'm like, I know. And I'm like, oh, like what was your team? He was like, I was a big fan of the Seattle Supersonics. I was like, whoa, you don't hear that too often.
Jeez.
I was like, why is that? He's like, Sean Kemp is my favorite player of all time. He was the best dunker I've ever seen. I was like, all right, you know ball. You know ball. I don't know how you're watching, but you know ball. Sean Kemp for the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah,
I like the KD one too.
Yeah, KD was tight. I saw that pop up on my screen. I was thinking about it. But the Reeves is probably going to be my purchase. We are definitely going to talk a little bit about the Lakers. We'll get into that with our next guest, Julian Edlow. He's going to join us from DraftKings Sportsbook because I believe the ceiling continues to climb for the LA Lakers, and I think we're all in agreement there. The question I would have for you, Sam, and for Julian, and I will ask you guys on the other side is, if we're not buying in on Oklahoma City to represent the West in the NBA Finals, how are they losing? What are their flaws? Who can exploit their flaws? And the West is about as difficult as it gets. So I don't think it's a shock for anybody to believe that the Oklahoma City Thunder will not be in the NBA Finals. I know a lot of us will have them in there. They are priced at that on DraftKings Sportsbook. It's ridiculous how much of a favorite they are. But how many times have we seen a team have the MVP of the regular season, have one of the best regular seasons, one seed, and not get to the promised land? I think we could be staring at one of those situations. And oh, by the way, like we were talking about this yesterday, Sam, if LeBron and the Lakers just get to an NBA Finals, dude, this lifts his legacy so much more, in my perspective. Maybe not for everybody else, but there is potentially he'll have to open up with the Warriors, then take on the Nuggets, and then close up shop with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's like, wait a minute. If he does that this year, come on, man. We got to be fair about that. Julian Edlow on the other side. Sam Oshtry, full show, hanging with us from The Score. Make sure you give Sam a follow as he's fresh off a flight from all around the globe. We will talk some college hoops. We'll get into a little bit of that Maryland Terrapin conversation. Big win by the Terps last night.
Huge.
But we got a new contender for the 4th 1 seed when it comes to the madness. We'll be filling out those brackets on March the 16th. Let's find out what Julian Edlow from DraftKings Sportsbook and Sam Oshtry have to say about them Florida Gators and their big victory last night. More Daily Ticket after this.
Cinderella stories are fun until they bust your bankroll. The madness is coming.
Cooper there to clean it up. A throwdown with 2 hands.
Keep it locked right here to The Gambler. Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Crashes at Jen up Woodhaven Road, eastbound Millbrook to 95, where the off-ramp's partially blocked with a crash. Jen up on 95 northbound Girard up the bridge, westbound Schuylkill, Stop and Go, University to Vine, and Boulevard to Belmont, eastbound heavy Montgomery Drive to south. All right, to tell it, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
A landscaping pro's workday is measured in power per hour. More work in less time. That's why the pros prefer Echo outdoor power equipment. Echo's best-in-class chainsaws, blowers, and string trimmers make light work out of the toughest work days. It's time your crew upgraded to Echo Power. Experience Echo Power for yourself at Laurel Lawn Mower in Blackwood, New Jersey. Visit laurellawn.com or call 856-228-2770 to learn more. Echo. Power on and on.
Hi, I'm Jenna Fisher. A little over a year ago, during a routine mammogram and ultrasound, I was diagnosed with triple-positive breast cancer. Caught early, many common cancers have survival rates well over 90%. The Screening Time Off program encourages employees to take time to step out for screenings. Be the world's best boss. Join Screening Time Off. Learn more and sign up at workingwithcancerpledge.com.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Philadelphia, Radnor, and Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Michelle Ferreri, licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Online at CordellCordell.com.
It's a classic odor tale. You've had fish for dinner, cleaned up, the smell is still in the house. The neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you freeze air mist. Freeze air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
The new iHeart app.
What do I like about it? Really easy to use. I like that.
Love my presets.
If you're not using it, you're missing out.
Go get it.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
T-Mobile home internet, it's all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
First thing, there are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on them.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply for J.D. Power 2024 award information. Visit jdpower.com/awards.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
Peyton Pritchard's played 38 minutes, stop and start, goes to the left hand, scores off the window, and it's the first career 40-point game for Peyton Pritchard.
Peyton Pritchard doing big things up there in Beantown. Sam Oshtry, Sean Brace here, live, a daily ticket. Yeah, let's head up to Boston. Let's see if our good friend Julian Edlow knew that this man had this type of talent. Now, I believe he's front runner for Sixth Man of the Year. Is that correct? Julian Edlow from DraftKings Sportsbook joining us right now. Julian, Peyton Pritchard, 40 points. Unbelievable game last night by the Boston Celtics. Derek White and Pritchard become the first Celtics duo to both score 40 points in a game. 19 three-pointers. Good Lord, man. How you been?
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty good bar trivia question as we let this blow over 5-10 years. Name the first Celtics duo to score 40 plus in a game. You're going to name all these guys in the 70s: Bird, McHale, Pearson, Ray Allen, Tatum and Brown. Nope. Derek White and Peyton Pritchard.
And on Get Up this morning, they had a stat. Listen to me telling you, and all you got to do is walk into your great arena and just look up at the rafters and you'll know. But 65% of the time that the Boston Celtics have taken the floor, not counting Tatum and Jaylen Brown, only players that have been in the Hall of Fame, 65% of the time the Boston Celtics have taken the floor with their starting five, having two players in the Hall of Fame.
Really?
That's insane.
I didn't know
That's
that stat.
insane.
And obviously it's been it's been years. So they've been kind of ticking that number down for a while.
That's true. That is true. Julian, great to have you, my friend. We got a lot to discuss, NBA and, of course, college hoops, as the madness is fast approaching here. But as our good friend Sean Barnard from DraftKings checks in as well. Peyton Pritchard tonight. How many three-pointers tonight versus the 76ers?
So, like, you never want to come back in on that guy the next game, right? But no Jaylen Brown, no Porzingis, no Horford, no Drew Holiday, and Tatum and Sam Hauser are questionable. So they're going to be doing it again tonight against the Sixers. Now, props are going to be, as you would imagine, last night I took Pritchard over 14.5 points. That worked out by almost 3 times as many. Probably should have gotten a little more aggressive on the ladders there. And Brown over 6.5 rebounds. He got there as well. They're going to be more careful tonight. I'm looking at DraftKings right now. Tatum's on the board. They're assuming this is kind of a rest Brown and Tatum each night type of deal. Tatum's on the board at 31.5. Here's the thing with Pritchard and White now, though. Like, I think it's too much. Pritchard 20 plus is minus 135. White 20 plus is minus 130. That's probably too much. Sam Hauser's on the board at 11.5 too. But somebody's going to have to shoot. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys have heard, but the Sixers kind of stink.
Really? Since when?
I got to dig a little deeper. I've been doing some Arch Madness, and I say Arch with an A.
I like
heartbreaking loss on Indiana State. 1 p.m. tip-off. Sweat that one before we came on this show. But I'm digging into the Celtics game. I want more on the board in this Celtics-Sixers game. With Horford now off, Cornette's going to play a lot. Problem is, it's a tough matchup with Drummond for a guy like Cornette. Maybe Cornette points and rebounds, something like that, just to stay away from these inflated White and Pritchard numbers. But, let's see Tatum and Hauser's status, especially if Hauser is out. Somebody's got to shoot, and Tatum's fine distributing. So, I could see going back to Pritchard getting 20 again.
All right, let's go ahead and stay in the NBA. I want to go big picture with you, and then we'll close up shop with some plays that you're eyeing up as far as tonight's card is concerned.
Let me chime one thing real quick because I just scrolled as far as I could. There's no way this was available yesterday. Pritchard 40 plus is now available 30-1 on DraftKings. Don't bet that. He's not going to do it again. But decent night to look at his standard point prop maybe.
Watch, he goes for 45.
Probably
tonight. Yeah, watch. I still need a little bit more on 30-1 to take that, but he's playing well, that's for sure. And I know I had a couple props on him last year during the playoff run, and it was always 1.5, and it was just odd if he could just get there, but playing time wasn't really there throughout the course of that championship run. Now, let's talk. Speaking of championship runs, let's talk about the West for just a second, because number one, the gauntlet, it's crazy. We were talking a little bit about the ceiling for the Lakers and if they were able to make an NBA Finals, how impressive that would be. And it's specifically because of the path. You're talking about the Golden State Warriors, who have just hit a different, they've raised their game with Butler, now 9-1. They're calling it the Butler bump. You got the Denver Nuggets, who have the championship mentality. They've been playing well. And, of course, Oklahoma City could very well be waiting for you in a Western Conference Final. I'm curious, though, how locked are we into OKC? And I know they're a great team, and SGA is going to win the MVP and so on and so on. But how locked are you that OKC will be representing the West? And I bring it up 2 parts. One, because of the price, Julian. DraftKings Sportsbook minus 130 for OKC to represent the West in the NBA Finals. And then a significant drop to the Lakers at plus 650. The Warriors are plus 650. The Nuggets plus 650. We have obviously changed there. And if you want to get down with anybody else, of course, they're way down the odds board as well. How locked are you on an OKC making it to the finals? And I bring it up also, the second part is because how many times have we seen a team have the MVP, have the 1 seed, and just come up short? They don't get to the promised land. They don't get to the top of the mountain. So where do you stand on OKC, and is there value for anybody else to represent the West in your mind?
Yeah, they should be favored. I think they're probably a little bit too heavily favored. But it really, you can talk yourself into both sides of this one. On one hand, they're the most efficient team by far. You look at them, they rank better than last year's Celtics team. They rank up there with like the first year, they rank up there with the 72 win Warriors teams, the Durant Warriors teams, the late 90s Bulls. Like, statistically, they're as good as it gets, and they play defense, and their best player plays defense. So again, last year they could have won the West if they didn't run into Dallas. Has been a bad matchup. Dallas has owned them. Dallas owned them this season. PJ Washington was making all his shots in that series. Like, Dallas seemed to be a really bad matchup for them, and now they have obviously evaporated into thin air, that Mavericks team. So OKC is the best team. They should beat anyone. It really just comes down to, are they ready to break through? And they've had their growing pains, and it feels like they should be ready to break through. Question becomes, can these, championship pedigree teams, Denver, the Lakers, which I did not think I would be saying a month ago, I think they still have flaws, but will one of those more veteran teams be an issue for them? I would say, if you give me OKC versus the field, I would say OKC. I would say it's their year to break through. That they'll be ready for it. But the West, I think OKC is a heavier favorite in the West than Boston is in the East, and I do disagree with that. I think that the Celtics have an easier path in the East than OKC will out West. I give Cleveland a lot of respect, but if the Celtics are close to healthy, I don't think somebody in the East is going to beat them 4 times in 7 games, even with not having home court against Cleveland. That said, Porzingis has missed 41% of his games since he's come to Boston. And that would be a key piece against Cleveland with the size, with Mobley and Allen. So I'm not, just sending the Celtics through to the finals by any means. I do think, though, with the championship pedigree and the layout of the East, how the Celtics have owned the Knicks, not really worried about the Bucks, and the Cavs being the real competitor, I just think it lands a little softer for Boston than it does OKC.
Yeah, the ESPN analytics, those computers are back at it, and maybe they might have been right with the Lakers. I still will argue. I just don't know how you could have given me that number when Luke only played literally 1 game and tell me that they had the second best odds to represent the whatever. They might be right at the end of the day. Anyways, over to the East, ESPN Analytics this morning, 85% for the Cleveland Cavaliers to be in the NBA Finals, 64% for Boston. And I do want to get over to that, so we'll do it now.
Wait, say that that's to reach what?
To make East Finals, excuse me, not the NBA Finals. Okay,
I was going to say that doesn't add up to 100. I don't need to add those.
85% Cleveland, 64% Boston, 26% Knicks, 8% Indiana, 7% Milwaukee.
So
Quickly on this
ESPN is
note,
saying if we played the East playoffs 10 times, the Celtics would only make the East Finals 6 times.
Wow.
Somebody's going to knock them off in the first or second round 4 out of 10 times.
You're not buying that.
I would disagree with that.
All right, let's stay there and talk about that game on Friday from last week. I took something away from it. That was a big time win for my money. Cleveland on the road going down the way that they did. Like, to me, Cleveland's not a fluke. That's where it starts and ends with me. And then the caveat, Julian, if you're telling me it's a 7-game series and they got home field, I'm starting to feel a little bit better about that play from the Cavs perspective. What did you take away from that game last Friday between the two teams?
The one thing I'll throw out is the home court. I don't care about the home court. Celtics do have a great home court, but they also fumble away a lot of leads at home, including that Cleveland game. And they've done it plenty in the playoffs. The year they lost to Miami in 7 games in the Eastern Conference Final. Games 1 and 2, they had double-digit leads at home in the second half and lost both of those games. So they have a problem with that, whereas they've been more locked in on the road for some reason, throughout their recent deep playoff runs. So I don't mind going on the road if I'm the Celtics, but I do take Cleveland very seriously. And I think the Celtics match up well with them when healthy, and I would favor the Celtics for sure. But Cleveland coming in and showing they can do that, and putting out the fire on a 25-3 deficit, and coming back on the road, like, they needed that game, and they proved that they can get that type of game. So Cleveland is very real. but I'll still say that the Celtics do have, and it's not always healthy to have this necessarily, but I think they do have that switch that they can flip when they need to flip it. And you got to get through this whole regular season as the defending champs, getting everybody's best shot. And you're going to have nights where you don't necessarily have it. That's not to talk down Cleveland, because I think they're for real. I would still just heavily favor the Celtics there. But again, they made it through last year due to the matchups without Porzingis. Porzingis played in 5 playoff games, and he was hobbled in a couple of them, playing really just for himself to be on the floor when they won it all. So if he's not there, and eventually he's not going to be there for a postseason run when they need him, that could be the matchup that trips him up.
This whole, for me, it's all about the health, Julian, because like what you said, do we really trust Kristaps to go through 2 months of the postseason healthy? He hasn't put together a 2-month stretch of being healthy in a long time.
Yeah, but if they're firing from downtown and they're making all these threes.
But Al Horford playing that many minutes, and Luke Cornett's had a really good year and playing really well recently. But that's a bad matchup when you have a Mobley, Jared Allen back or front court. And sometimes even they bench Jared Allen in late game situations, and Evan Mobley just plays the 5. But that's just a bad matchup for the Celtics if Porzingis is out. This is not the East of last year, where if they go through this whole run without Kristaps, they're gonna make the finals. This whole thing comes down to health, and it's not just Kristaps' health; it's Drew Holiday's health. At this point, do we think Drew Holiday can go through 2 months completely healthy? I'm not entirely convinced. Like, the Celtics completely healthy, I don't see them losing. Without Kristaps and maybe Drew Holiday, when it's like a game 2 and Drew Holiday's questionable before the game and he misses game 2, day to day for game 3. If they have that type of situation against the Cavs, I think the Cavs are going to win that series. So it comes down to health for me. So that's why I give the Cavs a real chance.
I think that, 2 things there. I don't mind as much Holiday. I think he can be in and out as much as he needs to be in and out. And if you need Pritchard to play 30 minutes in a playoff game, again, I'm not trying to pile on the hype train after a 43-point night, but I do think he's a capable 5th starter, and they don't even start him.
You can hunt. Like, I love Pritchard, and he is a dog defensively. He's still tiny, and teams will, like, in a matchup against the Cavs, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, they will hunt Pritchard all game.
He'll be on Garland there in that matchup, and the Celtics have found ways to kind of contain Garland a little bit more. They struggle a lot with Mitchell. Again, it's not ideal. I think they can get away with Pritchard for 30 minutes of playoff basketball at times. Porzingis, they can't. Last year, it worked in ways they could. This year, they can't, which brings up to me, at some point, you just got to be real with yourself that Porzingis can't stay healthy for 2 months. So last year, he got hurt in, was it game 3 or 4 of the first round against Miami, came back for game 1 of the NBA Finals. You might, again, this is cocky, but you might want to try and get away without him early, or playing him limited minutes early, so that you have him for a Cleveland, so that you have him for an OKC, and you don't have to put too many miles on him early where he burns out, and then you don't have him when you need him. So, you don't want to play with your food, but I would say the Celtics have the depth to be able to get through a first-round series without him. Then maybe you're playing him 20 minutes a game against the Knicks in the second round, ramping him up to 30 against Cleveland in an Eastern Conference final. I would seriously consider a route like that if you're Boston.
And if you want to back the Cavs, plus 210 to represent the East in the NBA Finals. It's a nice number. Again, Celtics minus 110 via DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, Julian, one more. Let's talk a little about tonight's game. The big one on the card, Lake Show and the Knicks, 3.5-point spread for the LA Lakers. They've been on a little bit of a run here. I believe 8 straight, if I'm not mistaken. 13 of 15. Of course, with Lucas 7-2 since he's joined the squad. I believe all those are correct. If not, tweet me, let me know. So tonight, 3.5-point spread. Where do you stand on this one? Anything catching your attention in this one, Julian? And then the ceiling for the Lakers. Where are you at? Again, it's not hype. We're talking about 2 of the best players the game has ever seen, and especially in the last 20 plus years, are now in the starting 5. LeBron has been playing great all season. You add Luka, he looks like he's a kid again out there. I'm not surprised, somewhat I'm surprised that they're able to get it to this as fast as they did. But, in the long run, it felt like Luka, if you can get what Luka is capable of, this is a team that very well should be able to be a contender for the West. Where do you stand on the ceiling with the Lakers this year?
Yeah, I want to see a little bit more from the Lakers. I don't want to cop out of answering the question, but like this is a new team. This is like where, would you say the record is with Luka? 7-2? We're like 10 games into the Luka season here. Are they just starting hot or are they for real? I think they're going to come back to life a little bit defensively. The hole in the middle obviously is significant. They showed their cards. They know they needed more with the Mark Williams trade, and then it didn't go through. So we know they feel like they need help there. Now, it was great to see the Lakers get over the hump and kind of, demolish Denver on the road, whatever that was, a couple Saturday nights ago. But that Jokic matchup is looming if you're the Lakers. I don't know how you handle it. What do you put LeBron on him? How many minutes can LeBron defend him? I don't know. So I still need to see more with the Lakers. And for that reason, I kind of lean Knicks plus 3.5 tonight. I might wind up firing on that. Towns is back. I think Towns will be a problem in this matchup for them, both inside and out. Knicks a little bit pissed off of the home loss to the Warriors the other night as favorites, going out on a West Coast road trip here. First game. Lakers looking forward to a big East Coast road trip. Starts on Saturday night in Boston. That's a big look ahead spot to a degree. Not that a home game against the Knicks isn't one that you're hyped up for. I'm just going to stick with my original analysis here on the Lakers, is that they can't be as good as they are right now. And they're going to come back to life a little. Not that LeBron and Doncic can't make plays, but everybody else and the defensive inefficiencies and the hole in the middle against a guy like Karl Anthony Towns. So lean to Knicks plus 3.5 tonight. And I got some time to figure out if I'll wind up firing on that one.
Got Julian Edlow from DraftKings Sportsbook. Fantastic as always in his Thursday spot here at 3:30 on the Daily Ticket. Sam Oshtry from The Score hanging with us. Make sure you catch all of Julian's and Sean Bernard's work over at DKNetwork.com. Now let's switch gears, and DK Network is going to be all over the madness. College hoops plays front to back. We are here. As you said, the Arch Madness rolling on, a couple other conference tournaments as well. Last night we had some big results. I'm curious where you stand on the 4 1 seeds right now. If they were to be named right here, right now, Julian, Houston, Auburn, Duke locked, but Florida, is Florida now the other 1 seed for you? And do you think that there is a chance that they could slip up with one more regular season game remaining in the SEC conference? So where do you stand on the 4th 1 seed as far as madness is concerned?
It's Florida for me. And this team doesn't slip up much. They've had a couple of bad ones. Some of the bad ones look not as bad now, knowing how good like a Missouri is. At the time, that was almost a double-digit spread, I think, and Missouri's really come to life. It's Florida for me. I mean, they have road wins at Alabama and Auburn, convincing ones. So, yeah, you look at the rest, like, how can you give it to Alabama now with coming off a couple straight losses, one head-to-head as a home favorite against Florida? There's very good. The 2 seeds are all very good teams. I can't buy in on Michigan State getting a 1 seed. I buy in on Michigan State. They're playing fantastic right now. I don't buy in on them getting a 1 seed over even an Alabama, to be honest, just given the competition that Bama faces every night. You're going to lose some games. It's Florida for me, and I like the trio of guards. They have great size. Florida's a team that I have some futures on that I am pretty happy about at this stage. I think that they're a Final Four team, and getting that 1 seed is important. You don't want to deal with Auburn, Duke, Houston in an Elite 8 game. Get that 1 seed, you're in much better position, and I think that Florida will. Let me give you one note. I don't know if you were going to ask about the only major college basketball game tonight. Michigan State at Iowa. Michigan State has been dominating second halves recently. I just put this out on Twitter on Sunday. I put it out again this afternoon. Now, their last 7 games, I believe it is, they've covered the second half spread. 6 of them they've been trailing at halftime and gone on to win the game. The other one, they were up by 2 against Purdue, went on to win with good margin. On Sunday, they were down 2 to Wisconsin, went on to win by 9. They've been coming out and just kind of feeling the game out and blowing doors second half. So they're 6.5-point favorites at Iowa tonight. Iowa's not very good. They've lost some key players. I'm not going to lay 6.5 on the road at this stage in time, but I'm going to have my eye on that game. And if that's close at halftime or Michigan State happens to be losing, which they have 6 of their last 7 games, Michigan State's second half is a good play tonight if the position presents itself, we'll say.
I like
let me add on to that Michigan State second half stuff. In the last 6, Michigan State's last 6 wins, they're getting outscored by 24 points in the first half. They've trailed half in 5 of those 6 wins. They're outscoring opponents by 84 in the second half in those games. 84 points in the second half. Of course, you saw it my Terps last week that was. But this Julian is 100% right. This Michigan State second halves are phenomenal. It's because they're so deep. They play like a legitimate 9-10 man rotation, and they just have guys who can come in and immediately contribute and play so hard defensively that they don't miss a beat, and they're so well rested to make this push in the second half. So Michigan's second halves tonight, but also in the Big Ten tournament, in the NCAA tournament, Michigan's second halves is a great trend.
All right, I like that. Good stuff across the board by both you guys there. All right, Julian, let's go big picture on the conversation when it comes to March Madness. And I'm starting to talk myself into it, and I'm sure we all do because we want those upsets. Although let me backtrack on this because this is something that I was thinking about due to the fact that now, and specifically Auburn, you look at Louisville, there's a bunch of teams at the top of my head that are the average age is up there compared to what previous years have been. And correct me if I'm wrong, as we go into these tournaments, don't we talk ourselves into mid-majors? And one of the factors is, this team has been together forever. They veteran leadership, they know each other. Do you guys, and Julian, I'll start with you on this one. Is that playing into you? Will it play into your handicapping or filling out the bracket that we might not see that moving forward, specifically starting this year, because of the average age for a lot of these teams due to the portal and the transfer and all that continues to rise? So now it used to be something, a plus for a team in the mid-major that you could look at like, you know what? Yeah, I can back them going into going up against Iowa and beating them. But I don't know if I can get there this year simply because of the average age of these teams continues to rise. Anything there for you on that one, Julian?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I would say I've probably over-handicapped experience at times, and that goes for college basketball and college football. Like this last year, Oklahoma State had a 10-win team and brought back 21 of 22 starters going to football. Yep. I bet them to go over 7.5 wins. It closed 8.5. I bet them to win the conference. I bet them to make the playoff. 10-plus wins at plus money, whatever. They stunk. I have no idea why. They brought their entire team back, and obviously Gundy has been there forever. A few years ago, St. Bonaventure out of the A-10 won the Atlantic 10. They were the best team by a wide margin, won the regular season, won the conference tournament, had a little bit of March Madness success, brought back all 5 starters. They were all like 22, 23, 24. They were like middle of the A-10 next year. I don't know how you explain that. I don't know how you handicap that, if it's just they got comfortable or whatever, but like that oftentimes comes back and bites you. So that is something actually that I have tried to, you can't ignore it. I'll pay attention to it, but it certainly doesn't always work going with all that experience, particularly playing together.
Am I off my rocker, Sam? Are you buying anything when I'm trying to sell?
Like in a way, I do think experience matters when you see like these teams make runs, for teams to stick together for 6 straight wins throughout a March tournament. I think that matters. You're seeing the national champions be more experienced, and I think that you saw that trend kind of start with Nova in like 2016, and then that 2018 team, which was coming off those early 2010s, which was a lot of the one and done era, and you saw the Kentuckys and the Dukes win with one and done. I think we're going to find out this year, because I really think that's the thing with Duke. A lot of people are going to be all over Duke, and they have some veteran presence mixed in with Tyrese Proctor, but their 2-3 best players are freshmen.
Yeah.
So you're going to see that this year. Some people are going to be all in on them because of that talent and that maturity that the freshmen have shown, even though they're still freshmen. And other people are going to be like, all right, this is a really inexperienced team. Inexperienced and freshmen can't win in March anymore. And people are going to fade them because of that. And we're kind of going to find out. And if they lose early, you might be onto something where it's like, all right, like really you need juniors, seniors, guys who are in their 4th, 5th year to win in March.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple ways of looking at it. First and foremost, to win it all, as you said, 6 wins. That's another leap. We texted earlier. At 11 straight years, a 5 seed has made the Final Four. So it's another thing to sit here and say win it all. It's another to say, hey, potential upsets, that we normally saw. I don't know if we're going to continue to see that. So maybe this year it's more valuable to pick the lower seed than it is in years past. We'll see.
It's also,
when we get to
also
bracket.
just really quick, like it's really fun to talk about this stuff now.
But
in 10 days, we got to see that bracket.
Correct.
Like,
the path is everything.
Duke's 4-5 matchup. I'm fast forwarding to the Sweet 16 and having them not blow it early.
Well, Julian, you know who that 4-5 matchup will be?
You're gonna say Maryland?
Yep. That's what Lunardi has right now. And then that's when that experience will come to play, and Maryland will upset.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Maryland would be a threat. They don't have much depth. Great starting 5, not much depth. Maryland, I would give consideration to knocking off Duke in my bracket. The 2 examples I was going to give is like, if it's a Michigan, I'll go Duke. I don't believe that much in Michigan. I think that would work out well for Duke. I was going to say if it's like a St. John's 4 seed, I'll put St. John's right through upsetting Duke in that Sweet 16 game. So
yeah.
Matchups are really going to matter here when we start to say, like, can Duke make it through? Like, well, they could get a really nice draw and be right there in the Final Four, or they could get a very tough team, and I would include Maryland in that group, like that has the potential to get that type of win.
Yeah. So what do we think about that? Do we think Duke is going to be the number 1 overall seed right now, or is it going to be Auburn?
I would go Auburn.
Yeah, I don't think Auburn has anything to worry about. I think Beefs joined us yesterday. He said Auburn can lose their next 2 by 20 plus. And he doesn't think they're going to lose the overall 1 seed.
Yeah, probably not. But like if they lose in their first game, I mean, they'll have the double bye. But if they lose their first game in the SEC tournament, Duke just rolls the ACC tournament, I think it's a question.
I know. I
don't know how much credit you can give Duke if they do roll the ACC tournament.
I mean, no, the ACC's horrible.
Yeah.
But
it's really hard to mark Auburn down for anything now. And like, Ken Palm's got them a 9-point home favorite over Alabama on Saturday. But if they did lose to Alabama, is that even a bad loss? They already got a road win against them. I don't think that one would count against them. So it would have to be a pretty jarring SEC tournament loss, like right out of the gates, I think.
All right, Julian, we'll wrap up with this. Anything you're looking forward to over these next couple days until we get to the major conference tournament actions next week? Anything that you have your eye on? You brought up the SEC. We got some big regular season games closing up shop on the weekend. I believe the Big Ten is still up for grabs too, right? I want to say. Anything that is on your plate right now as far as college basketball that you are eyeing up and it might help you handicap down the road here?
Yeah, nothing crazy this week. Obviously, we really sink in next week. We got Arch Madness going on. I don't know if we still have it on the board because the tournament started, but Bradley is plus 240, the second favorite to Drake. They're not too far off from Drake. They got to win 2 games and they would be in that game, maybe like a 2.5-point dog, and you got them plus 340. That's when I put out that I think even if you want to hedge, if we get there on Sunday, I don't think that's a bad one. Mentioned the Michigan State second halves. Michigan State, I think, to get the Big Ten outright would, I don't know if they get it tonight, but either way, they host Michigan on Sunday. Still a revenge spot for Michigan, but Michigan's not playing all that well lately. That's a game, maybe a money line parlay Michigan State. Maybe you just wait until halftime again and fire Michigan State second half. Let me see. I'm looking at my notes. I make notes every Sunday for the rest of the college basketball week.
Julian, can I ask you a question real quick about a particular conference? So before the big ones start next week, the big major conferences, WCC, West Coast Conference, starts tonight. Gonzaga minus 150 favorite, but St. Mary's beat Gonzaga twice this year. I also think Santa Clara is a little bit of a sleeper in that conference. It's not a major conference, but it's a conference tournament that I'll be watching. What do you think about that conference?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not playing a sleeper, I'll tell you that. It's 2 teams.
Yeah.
But I'm struggling with the question that you have. I bet Gonzaga both times they played this year. I thought they should have won the road game. They let go of the rope on that one, and St. Mary's got it. St. Mary's was pretty convincing in what should have been a home revenge spot for Gonzaga getting that game. revenge-wise, talent-wise, Gonzaga should probably get it, but St. Mary's might just have their number. So I haven't bet the conference yet. I might bet the conference. If I do, it's the plus money on St. Mary's. There's something a little off with this Gonzaga team, and St. Mary's has been gelling all year. They've been the better team. So to get them at the plus money, that's where I would go. Just looking.
I'm with you. It's the old adage. It's the old adage. Like, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. But I wouldn't lay that minus 150 with Gonzaga. No, it's just too big of a number.
I'm off of that as well. I think it's interesting to see how Duke's going to finish up ACC regular season. We're looking at UNC getting maybe like 12 points at home on Saturday night.
Game day in the building.
I know UNC's had its moments this year, but they're playing better lately. They're right on the bubble too. Like, we remember this a couple years ago. Coach K's last game, the year that UNC beat them in that game, beat them in the Final Four, and then lost that big lead to Kansas in the national championship game. It's not the same team. They don't have Armando Bacot. They don't have the size. But if I'm getting 12 on Saturday night with UNC, I'm going to have a pretty hard time passing that up.
Excellent. Well, great breakdowns across the board. Julian, can't thank you enough. Once again, the WCC going off this evening, as Sam pointed out, taking place out there in Vegas, and everything available on a DraftKings Sportsbook. And, of course, you can find Julian's great work over at DKNetwork.com. Give him a follow, all one word. Julian Edlow joins us every Thursday, sets us up for success. One quick one, 30 seconds. Who are the Patriots taking?
I have no idea.
No?
I have no idea.
Travis Hunter is not the guy. Is it Travis?
I'll take Travis Hunter. I just have no idea how the board's going to fall before him because it's such a bad draft. We don't know if these quarterbacks are for real, if teams are going to take them. I don't know. I have no idea. I'll be happy with Travis Hunter. I'll be happy with Carter. I don't think Carter's going to be there. But, yeah, give me the best talent on the board that is not a quarterback, obviously.
Would it be a slam dunk if Drake May was in this draft versus Cam Ward? 10 out of 10 times Drake May's going number 1 overall. 5 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10.
I think it's 9 out of 10 times Drake May.
Okay.
We also have the luxury of knowing what Drake May did as a rookie, which was pretty impressive.
If you know what Drake May did last year.
No, I'm saying take that out. Take that out.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Right.
No, I'm removing that because I think there were teams that had to do their homework on like Jaden Daniels versus Drake May last year, from what I heard. So if you're doing the homework on that, I think you got to look into everything, but I think Drake May was a pretty sizably higher graded prospect than any quarterback in this draft.
The draft right around the corner. How about it?
There it is.
Madness first, though. Madness first. All right. And then we'll talk some NBA playoffs, and then we get to the NFL draft taking place in Green Bay. Julian, can't thank you enough as always, man. Extended visit this afternoon. Good luck on all those plays. We'll continue to read you over at DK Network. Always a pleasure, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll do it again next week.
My man, there he is. Julian Edlow on the Gambler stream. Daily Ticket rolls on. A lot of great conversational pieces that you can get involved in. Love to hear your thoughts at Fox PHL Gambler. We're streaming on YouTube, on our socials. And oh, by the way, we're starting to push this because we got some numbers back. The brand new iHeartRadio app is available. Download it now. It's free. But the cool thing is you could set presets like a radio station. Like you're in your car. You could put presets on the iHeart app. Now, I will be fully transparent. There are other sports radio stations that are on that app that you can put on the iHeartRadio app with us, and you can flip back and forth. I think it's pretty cool. So go ahead and check out what iHeart has to offer. Once again, download the app. It's free. It's how you can get the Gambler Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, 365. Daily Ticket rolling out. More after this.
If you've been wanting to try Ozempic, go to tryfh.com right now. If Ozempic is effective, Future Health is next level effective. These new reports are saying Future Health is getting 58% better results. Customers are reporting they've lost 35 pounds or more in just a few months. Go now and take the quiz while their 30% off offer is still active. Get started today, and you can have meds delivered to your door in 48 hours. That's tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Data based on independent study sponsored by Future Health. Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion.
Spring is finally here, and so are spring projects. So get them started at Harbor Freight's parking lot sale. This weekend, save on products like pressure washers for $69.99, 42-inch roller cabinets for under $500, plus 30% off Hercules corded power tools. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until 3/9/25 while supplies last. Limitations apply, so spring in before it's over.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again. Because more people are listening to the radio on iHeart today than they were 20 years ago. And only iHeart Broadcast Radio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, social, any other media. Even twice as many teens than TikTok. And that reach means everything. Just think about the universal marketing formula. The number of consumers who hear your message times the response rate equals the results. Now let's get those results growing for your business. Radio's here now more than ever, and iHeart's leading the way. Think radio can help your business? Think iHeart. Streaming, podcasting, and radio, where the reach is real. Let us show you at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com. Or call 844-844-iHeart. One more time, just call 844-844-iHeart and get radio working for you.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
Well, you could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
CEOs you should know, brought to you by Comcast Business.
Justin Jude, Global CEO of LKQ Corporation. Our mission is to be the global value-added distributor of products and solutions to our customers. We were founded as a automotive recycler. So think of a junkyard, but we professionalized the business. We processed over 800,000 vehicles. And so we like to make sure that those vehicles do not end up in a landfill. Chemicals don't end up in the soil. And so we recycle, detoxify those vehicles, and then sell those products. We make money at it, but we're doing it from a sustainable standpoint. We created a foundation in 2020. We donate over $4 million. $1 million of that typically goes to employees or employee families, children for scholarships. We also have an employee relief fund. Think of some of the hurricanes that have occurred in Florida and some of the other markets where we will help not just our employees, but also help the communities for which we operate. It's critical for us to be known as a good corporate citizen and a good community supporter. We created this foundation to make sure we have a good opportunity to allocate that money out. We operate in Ukraine. We have 50 locations in Ukraine, so we not just help our employees in Ukraine, but also help some of the communities in those areas that are suffering just from the Russian invasion. LKQ being over 1,600 locations across the globe, 48,000 employees. If you really want to work for a company or support a company, buy from a company that is all about sustainability, that's how we were founded.
To know more, go to lkqcorp.com. Comcast Business, the complete connectivity solution, cybersecurity, internet, and mobile, all from one provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Right now, during Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale, save up to $600 on top brands and get a free adjustable base. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook.
Eagles defensive end Brandon Graham battled back from a torn triceps to play in Super Bowl 59, only to tear it again, and he's now recovering from surgery. Philly slugger Bryce Harper says he's willing to move from first base back to right field if the team can make a significant upgrade at the position. And a one-of-a-kind rookie card of Pirates phenom Paul Skeens is officially on the auction block. Fanatic says it'll fetch a significant sum. I'm Scott Davidson.
Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Good afternoon. Thursday drive home. We've got a problem in Ben Salem. It's Woodhaven Road eastbound, crawling Knights Road to 95. The off-ramp to southbound 95 is blocked due to a crash. 95 northbound, heavy for the airport to Broad, stop and go Girard up the bridge, then jam Woodhaven to Street Road. Southbound 95, that's jammed between 420, the Blue Route with a disabled vehicle off to the side. Westbound Schuylkill, Jan, University to Girard and Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound heavy Conchaca to Belmont and approaching Montgomery Drive to south. To tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows that your business is built on speed. That's why the Lowe's Pro Desk will help you get what you need right away. And with their pro-only checkout and dedicated pro parking, they'll help you get back on the job fast. Just visit them at the Pro Desk. We help, you save.
Run a business and not thinking about podcasting? Think again. More Americans listen to podcasts than ad-supported streaming music from Spotify and Pandora. And as the #1 podcaster, iHeart's twice as large as the next two combined. So whatever your customers are into, true crime, sports, comedy, culture, they'll hear your message. Plus, only iHeart can extend your message to audiences across broadcast radio. And all this reach means everything. Just think about the universal marketing formula. The number of consumers who hear your message times the response rate equals the results. Now let's get those results growing for you. Think podcasting can help your business? Think iHeart. Streaming, radio, and podcasting. Let us show you at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com. Or call 844-844-iHeart. One more time. Call 844-844-iHeart and get podcasting working for you.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm rehearsing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on them.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
#1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
Hey now. Fun first hour, kicking this bad boy off here on a Thursday. A lot of good shows this week, Sam. We're holding it down again. We're continuing that trend. Yesterday, really good first show with Kyle Fisher. He sat in with me full show. Really fun to bounce some things off of him. Talk some fills as they were getting smoked. Did you see the video of Topper being interviewed?
Yeah, during the
Lizardo
game.
back to back.
It was such a him reaction, just dead silent. Like, whatever.
It's
spring training.
Spring training. Nobody cares. All right. I know a lot of great conversations yesterday. And if you missed anything, all of our podcasts available at foxphlgambler.com. Give us a follow. Download the iHeartRadio app. Put us on the preset. Let's go. We got Sam Oshtry from The Score here. What's going on with my computer? Did I hit something?
I don't know. Am I frozen?
You were frozen. Now you're back.
All right. I'm back.
You're back. All right. In my right hand, What do you got? I got Wicked Crisps.
Sweet potato.
Ooh, I like sweet potato. I have red curry hummus. All right, so we were just handed these Wicked Crisps, and here's what I would tell you. Don't laugh, but I like things. I like trying new things. Number one, I like chips, but I like healthy chips. I like.
Why would I laugh?
Well, it's just because I mean, come on, yeah.
You said I like the healthy chips.
You look really healthy, Brace. Yeah. No, at the end of the day, there are plenty of other options out there, and people try new things, experimentation, all that. So I'm always looking for something new that can satisfy my craving for that crunch.
Craving for the crunch.
It's been a huge deal for me to take the bag of potato chips, no longer take the bag. Instead, use a bowl.
Wait.
Yeah, that's been.
So it used to be you eat the whole bag. So now you have to get rid of the bag. So you put a few into the bowl, and that's how you kind of contain yourself.
Mentally, that's been able to work for me. Yes,
that's a good move.
Yes, so
skinny guy like me doesn't think that
way. So here we are. Let's go. Wicked Crisps. Red curry hummus, and you got the sweet potato.
Yeah, but I also got spicy vegetable. I might try that.
Oh man, I love some spicy vegetables. All right, so these are nice little square guys, good size, bag filled all the way up to the brim. Let's go. What do you say?
Let's go,
dude. Those are good.
Really good.
Not bad at all.
Perfect amount of spice too.
Let me get one of them.
Like not too spicy, but a little spice in there.
I like these better.
I like yours better.
Yeah, red curry.
Tastes like Old Bay a little bit.
These are good.
You got really. All right, I'll try the sweet potato too.
Yeah, pop them open. Wicked Crisp, red curry hummus, damn good. Yeah, let me get one of them joints. These are sweet potatoes.
Chewing into the mics. I think yours is the best one. The red curry is the best.
Red curry is the best. Absolutely. Hands down. But those are good too. Nice little sweetness to them. They also have sea salt and hummus. They got roasted garlic, which of course is going to hit. There's going to be a lot of flavor in that. Cool little logo. Did you see the logo?
It was these two women.
Two women? Yeah, we got what's the
one
deal
with
there?
Horns.
Yeah, one with horns, one with not. It's
honey on the side.
It's like them Hector boys. It's like when Beef texts me, yo, when you coming up? And then it's like the good angel and the devil.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Wickedcrisps.com. We're chewing on them right now. And very good. Very good. Who
usually wins those battles? The good devil or the good angel or the bad devil?
In 2025, the angel.
Wow. Yeah, no booze. No booze.
The angel is winning in 2025.
That's good.
For the previous 43 years of my life, Devil's undefeated. All right, having some fun here. Sam Oshtry from The Score hanging out. Hey, 5 o'clock hour. Sean Barnard's going to join us. We're going to go 3 wide, picks and roll, talking all things NBA, big picture items. Of course, we'll hit on the games tonight, see if we can find some plays that we like, all that and more. That's coming up at 5 o'clock. Also at 6 o'clock, we get a full day of programming for you here, folks. Keep it locked to The Gambler, because coming up at 6 o'clock, brand new Swing It and Ding It, as we have the Arnold Palmer Invitational going off right now. Patrick Cantley on top. Now it is opening round, so I can't get too excited, but Cantley is my one and done play this week in the Swing It and Ding It. So that's good to see him on top of the leaderboard at this point in time. But Swing It and Ding It coming your way. Moose Mays and the great Danielle Matthews. That's at 6 p.m. And at 7 p.m., we're bending the edge, baby. All things NFL draft with our guys, Beef and Lettuce. Nick McClay, Ryan Beef Coyle, talking all things NFL draft. I think they're doing wide receivers. I could be mistaken. I think it's wide receivers tonight. So that's coming your way.
Check that out. Yeah,
7 o'clock.
Crazy. Everything just comes up when you're talking about the draft. We're talking about golf. Like the Masters are going to be here before we know it.
Yep.
What else are we talking? I mean, obviously with March Madness and everything, NFL free agency.
I got one for you. That what else is happening?
What's happening?
That's not nearly getting enough excitement.
What's that?
And this is 2 parts, because I was ranting about this on Monday, and this is a perfect topic for you. It's funny how we stumble in these things. You never know where we're going.
On a Thursday.
Let's talk hockey, though.
Okay,
you ready?
Well, I'll walk out the door.
No, but you remember the 4 seasons. Or 4 seasons.
Yeah, we're hockey guys.
Yeah. The Four Nations.
Seasons. Yes, of course.
Four Seasons, great hotel. Stay there all the time. Try to at least. Sponsor us, please. Thank you. Free rooms. Anyways, the Four Nations, right? And everybody was going nuts. Oh my goodness, this is what it's all about. PK Subban taking shots at NBA, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, all the hockey people getting their takes off, beating their chest.
Yeah.
Do you know that dude Tkachuk got hurt in that fight? And he's pretty much going to miss the remainder of the season.
That U.S.-Canada fight?
Correct.
Wow.
So here you have everybody losing their minds over this four nations. And rightfully so. It was entertaining. It was great. But I did think people were going a little bit over the top on it. You want to remove the All-Star game? Now this is what you got. You got guys out there fighting tooth and nail. We care, blah, 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 blah. Sam, what would have happened if we went world versus America, America versus the globe in a basketball game and SGA breaks his hand?
It would have been disastrous for the league. It would have been disastrous, obviously, for the Thunder, the PR standpoint. I mean, everyone would have blew a gasket if that happened. And that's the players' whole point of why they don't try. We're not trying because we don't want to risk injury, and the All-Star game isn't that important.
Yep.
Like the NBA, in a way, they're obviously pissed that the All-Star game and All-Star weekend has lost its luster. They're pissed about that. But in a way, if something like that happened where the Thunder's star were out and the Thunder essentially their season ended because their best player as an SGA was out for the season because of something that happened in an All-Star game, that would be a disastrous event.
Chuck wasn't the MVP front runner, so maybe we could find some other player, but still it applies.
Yeah.
It applies. And I just feel like, all right, so everybody got their takes off 2 weeks ago. I haven't heard a peep about Tkachuk being done for the season.
Because no one talks hockey. People were just talking hockey. And here's part of the thing.
They were a prisoner of the moment.
And part of the thing that kind of got lost in that whole Four Nations thing and why it became so popular and all these hockey guys had their moment. A lot was going on and is still going on with the USA and Canada.
That's true.
And that can't be lost in the whole conversation. We don't have to really get into that, and we won't get into that.
Oh, I'll get into it. It's the most ridiculous thing I've seen in forever, but go ahead.
Our great Governor Trudeau of the 51st state.
It's ridiculous.
Regardless, that was lost in the whole shuffle of things of why kind of there was this, like patriotism always exists when the U.S. is representing their country in the sport, the Olympics, whatever it is. But U.S. and Canada were really at odds with each other. They're people booing the national anthem. It became more than just hockey. It became this cultural moment between these two countries. And that's why that tournament really blew up.
You're right.
So I don't think that you could ever really recreate that moment. Again, the NBA shouldn't recreate that because they don't need it necessarily. The All-Star game is a pointless event. Sure, it's a big spectacle. It's a corporate weekend. Everyone in the NBA comes together, but you don't need it. The All-Star game is a horrible product every single year. Everyone gets their takes off for the next 4 days while there's no games.
Sure.
We move on. Nobody cares until the middle of next February. Nobody cares about the All-Star game. It doesn't matter that it's a bad event.
No, you're right about that.
God bless you.
Thank you. As I just let one go there, sneezing. But you're right about that. And I know that there were some people talking about, hey, who was it? Was it Durant? I forget who it was, talking about what they have to go through on Fridays, Saturdays, and then Sundays they're playing later in the afternoon. So hopefully, look, if you want to try and change up the All-Star game, maybe they go about that differently. Maybe you bump the game up to Saturday.
That's an interesting proposal. And then have the dunk contest and 3-point Sunday. But it's a lot of guys will get out of town. That's the problem. Like all those All-Stars that aren't in those big-time events will just skip town after Saturday night and get on with their vacation for a few days. So you don't have that. Well, part of what makes the dunk contest cool is all the All-Stars are courtside and their reactions are crazy and they're watching it.
Yeah.
So you don't have that if you move it. I don't know. I don't think there's a real solution unless the players are actually committed to playing. I don't think this generation of players will ever be committed to playing. So guess what? You're never going to have a compelling All-Star game. Guess what? It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. But I did like the games that they rolled out this year. I like that.
It was good, except they weren't playing basketball. It was the Kevin Hart show. It was tributes inside the NBA.
Remove that. Just the games.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you.
Games.
I'm with you. Well, the games were good,
yes,
but they were so short. It was a 3-hour event, and they were playing basketball for like 30% of that time.
You're right.
But I actually thought the games were more competitive. People were pissed that it was these rising stars
Draymond.
Yeah, but they were always going to lose the first round, and it kind of made their opponents, these actual all-stars, compete a little more. So I would maybe that game was to 40. The championship was also to 40. I'd make those semifinals maybe to 30, 35, and then make the championship game to like 50 or 60 points. So you get more of those all-stars. Again, it's not really for those guys to play in the game. It's more for the accomplishment of I was an all-star this season. This is how great of a season I'm having. So do guys really care that they're only playing for 5-10 minutes? I don't know. But again, the all-star game, the whole event, it's not something that ever is going to be a good event because the players will never commit to it.
All right. And then one of the main reasons why I did bring up the hockey was because of, the topic that I stumbled into on Monday, where it was like, wait a minute, you guys haven't talked about that at all with Chuck being done from his team that won the Stanley Cup Finals last year, second team in their conference, could very well repeat for the Florida Panthers. And now he's done because he got into a fight to start a game, which didn't mean a damn thing. It's pretty, I don't know, however way you want to look at that. But big picture conversation is Alex Ovechkin, who is now 9 goals behind Wayne Gretzky to break the all-time record for most goals scored in an NHL career. And it just, to me, this needs to be a little bit more out there for the consumption for the masses. Like, I'm not seeing enough of Alex Ovechkin talk. I'm not seeing, like, hey, this is a huge damn deal. Another one like last year with Kareem, or 2 years ago with Kareem and LeBron beating him. I just never thought that record was going to go down. Gretzky's record, never thought was going to be touched. And here Ovechkin's going to take that record this year, playing as well as he is at the age he is. To me, I just think there needs to be more of a story about Ovechkin day in, day out.
Yeah, let me push back.
Uh-oh.
Who cares? There's a reason you don't talk hockey on your show.
It's a
There's
record.
a reason ESPN never touches hockey on Get Up or First Take or PTI or RIP Around the Horn. You don't ever talk hockey unless the Four Nations come up. There's a reason. Because, again, who cares? Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby. I couldn't name you a Flyers player. Nobody cares about hockey. So it shouldn't get attention.
We should care about this stuff. It's one of the greatest records ever in sports.
Is it? Is it that? I don't know.
Well,
is it?
I don't know if it's the greatest record, but it's
is it comparable to LeBron passing Kareem?
It has to be, right?
I don't know.
So I think there's 2 different conversations. Like, just the record alone of the length and how many goals he scored in his career, like that is comparable. But when you're talking about, of course, fanfare, Ovechkin and Gretzky are 2 big damn names. So that's got to be up there with LeBron and Kareem. I don't know.
I will tell you at the score, obviously, it's based in Toronto. So a lot of the people are from Canada. So they're big hockey fans.
Are they talking about this?
I don't really know, honestly. If they do great hockey coverage, but they all know that I'm just like not a hockey guy, not to come near me with any hockey stuff. But they're all big hockey fans. And obviously, Toronto, it's Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs are up there. So it's just funny when they try to talk hockey with me. It's like, all right, yeah, you don't care.
Yeah. Go Flyers. All right. With that being said, we still got a lot to discuss. We'll talk a little college basketball on the other side because we got to talk about the Terps. They had a big time win. I know we jabbed at it with Julian Edlow. We also have some big games that we need to get caught up on. We'll do a little more of that on the other side. And then in the 5 o'clock hour, NBA conversation coming your way with Sean Barnard. We're running 3 wide on Picks and Roll. More Daily Ticket after this.
Save 30% on weight loss meds right now.
Try FH.com.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Heads up crash in South Jersey as 295 northbound Jan 47 to 42. The left lane is blocked. We've got delays on 42 southbound off the Walt Whitman down to Creek Road. The Vine Expressway westbound Jan 95 to the Schuylkill merge. A westbound Schuylkill stop and go University Teacher Board and Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound delays 202 to Belmont and approaching Montgomery Drive to south. 95 northbound stop and go Girard up to Bridge, and then heavy between Cotman and Academy with a broken down tractor trailer in the right lane. To tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by 5 Hour Energy. Daylight saving time is here to bring 1 less hour of sleep. The 5 Hour Energy team has your time change solution. Limited edition 1 hour energy shots. A tiny version of the shot you love designed to help you conquer the time change. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com/DST.
Hey, Sean Brace here. Now, do you own or manage a business here in Philadelphia? Are you unsure where to start when it comes to advertising? Well, here's a surprise. Fox Sports The Gambler, your local iHeart station, is the one place you can get it all, from radio and podcast ads to social media and digital. And we can get local voices like mine spreading the word about your business. So if you're looking for someone to take care of all of your ad needs, no matter your budget, call 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart today.
Did you know that virtual dolphins could be the key to managing stress? Or that electronic music could save the world from malaria? Believe it or not, it is all true. And you can hear these stories plus many more all this week on Part-Time Genius as we count down the 25 greatest science ideas of the past 25 years. It's a week full of fact-packed episodes you will not want to miss.
NASA scientists have already fast-tracked another important use for black fungus, protecting astronauts from cosmic radiation.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Part-Time Genius, and listen now.
Ah, the sweet sound of Rita's season. Rita's is open and the treats are in bloom. It's time to celebrate with a delicious gelati, refreshing ice, or a frozen coffee pick-me-up. Be sure to download the Rita's app. New app users receive a free small gelati, ice, or custard after their first purchase. So come on into Rita's and make this season the sweetest yet with ice, custard, and happiness. Order ahead from select locations. Check the app for availability.
Be cool, go to Rita's. Be cool, eat a Rita's.
It's March matchup season at BetMGM. Ready to shoot your shot? Lock in your picks for this year's tournament with the sportsbook born in Vegas. Being on the sidelines is one thing. This March, get into the game with exciting state-of-the-art live tracking technology, exclusive sportsbook selections, and so much more. Check out BetMGM Originals for dozens of markets you won't find anywhere else. Take a shot at our exciting free-to-play games for your chance at scoring odds boost tokens, bonus bets, and many other prizes. New players can score up to $1,500 in bonus bets if their first bet loses. From the big dogs to the underdogs, March matchups at BetMGM is a player's best friend. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and over only. Pennsylvania only. First bet offers for new customers only. All other promotions for existing customers, subject to eligibility requirements and rewards, may vary. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm cursing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on them.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com. Hey now, Daily Ticket with you here. Sam Oshtry from The Score, Sean Brace. We will not be talking hockey anymore. I promise you on that.
Thank God.
Did you catch any of the Oscars? Are you a movie guy?
No, I'm not really a movie guy. Big TV show guy.
Big TV show guy. What does that mean?
I love TV.
Well, yeah. Give me one.
So right now, my 2 favorite shows, I love them both. Just that I'm watching right now. That's what I'm thinking of. Severance.
I tried.
You didn't like it?
The first season was a little like all over. That's the issue.
Did you get into the second?
No, I haven't started it. It's a me thing.
So I have a group chat with about 15 people, all who watch Severance, and there is pretty much every single day like fierce debates of if the show is actually good or not, and if it's overrated, how much hype it gets, all this. And I love it. I think it's a really good show. It's not an all-time great show, but it's a really good show. But my favorite show right now is White Lotus. You watch that?
White Lotus. I know what it is, but
on HBO Max.
I have not.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's
Really?
you would like it. It's funny. It's like weird. It's mysterious. It's an awesome show. It's
Jennifer
also
Coolidge is in it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's a new cast every single season.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Jennifer
Interesting.
Coolidge is not in it this season.
How many seasons are we in?
This is the third one. Every Sunday on HBO. That we're through 3 episodes of the third season, and it's a fascinating commentary on social and cultural issues. And it's just like the jokes, the characters, they're all like so unlikable. And it's just essentially it's all these extremely rich people get together on this resort island called White Lotus and all these premier destinations. Like this season, it's in Thailand. Last year it was in Sicily. The year before that, it was in Maui, I believe. And it's just like these such unlikable characters. And they just kind of mingle with each other, go through the experiences. And there's always a death that they have the foreshadow at the beginning of the season, the very first scene. And then you kind of try to figure out who's the one who dies, who's the one that kills them, how do they die, and all those pieces unravel as the season goes on. I love the show.
Okay. Yeah, see, I'm been in the mode now where like I'm a little bit faster, quicker on the trigger to get on over to Netflix, quicker on the trigger to watch something else other than, hoops in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I have been. Probably not the best time to be doing that with college hoops by no means, but NBA kind of was pushing me, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and watch. And I watched the OJ documentary on Netflix, which was great.
The new one? There's been so many.
Yo, but I learned something.
What did you possibly learn?
I'm telling. Well, look,
because the ESPN one
was great.
It's maybe the best documentary I've ever seen. Sports documentary.
This is good because I think they spent money and they got new people, or they got the people that probably never gave their opinion on camera to sit down. One of them was it's OJ's wife. Who the hell did he kill again?
Nicole Simpson.
Nicole Simpson's sister. She
Really?
sat
Yeah,
down.
I've never heard her speak.
She broke it down. Trying to think as far as who else it was. They had a cop. It was pretty cool. And I'll just say this. They had a bunch of like spots where they were like, this was not brought up. Like there was blood on the door of the Bronco. This did not make the trial. And they would give you a reason why. And then there were so many things that you're just like, dude, what?
Because I do think the OJ story is one of the more interesting sports stories maybe ever. I mean, it was before I was even born. But I love to learn more about it, but it's just like I feel like I know everything about it.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll give it a try.
This was new. I promise you, I was intrigued by it, to say the least.
So what were you gonna say about the Oscars?
Well, look, I just watched it for a little bit, and it was just like the only issue was I didn't watch any of the movies. So it was like, as much as I wanted to sit down and give it an opportunity, it's like, all right, I saw Wicked, I saw like 1 or 2 other movies, but nothing really was hit me. And I was just wondering, because I know that there's a lot of movies that nobody has ever seen before and they're being rewarded. So how important are the Oscars, or how appeasing are the Oscars for somebody that hasn't watched any of the films?
I'm never a watch the Oscars guy. I don't really, because I don't see most of the movies. I'm not a guy who goes to the theaters. I mean, Jansen's the best for this.
Yeah.
He could break it down very well. But I'm just not like the biggest movie guy. So I haven't seen most of those movies, but I did see a Complete Unknown with Timothy Chalamet, who's the superstar now. I didn't love it. Adam Sandler's the best.
You didn't love it.
I didn't love A Complete Unknown.
Did Dylan?
He did Bob Dylan. And part of it is because I don't really know Bob Dylan or his character or his music like that. So maybe I just didn't care about the character. And so I thought it was drawn out and just long, and it got boring. And he was phenomenal. And don't get me wrong, he's a brilliant actor.
Yeah, he's money.
Yeah, but sky's
the limit.
Yeah, seriously.
If I was him, I'd get rid of Kylie Jenner, though.
Whoa, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, no, I gotta go.
I don't. Why?
Because that brings down stock.
No, she's not a Kardashian like that. I disagree.
She is.
How?
Because she's plastic beyond belief.
Not to the extent that Kim and Khloe and all them are.
BS.
No.
Go look at what she looked like 5 years ago.
What do you mean?
She's a Barbie. No, I can't. Look, bottom line is she's worth buku amounts of money. So no, don't drop her. Don't listen to me.
Well, he doesn't need the money.
But I am anti Kardashian, and I love.
Yeah, I think the Jenner crop is different than the Kardashian crop.
See, I'm a fan of
Kendall Jenner. Yeah, she recycles every guy.
Yeah,
Blake Griffin, Ben Simmons.
I can't.
Once you date Ben Simmons, I'm out on you. But it was during Ben Simmons' peak, so sure.
Yes.
But I think Kylie Jenner is the most beautiful Kardashian or Jenner.
You know, like it's all made in a doctor's office.
I don't know what she looked like before, so I couldn't even
all fake. Everything's fake on her. Just look at the pictures of when she was coming up.
Oh
and
my
she was
God.
young.
This is bad. What I'm looking at right now is this is bad.
And,
all right,
and,
I may
and,
change
and
this take.
She's trapped because she has to do that. She's a Jenner. She's a Kardashian.
Yeah, but this is a completely different person.
Correct. Now that person would be fun. I'm not going to deny that, right? Like she is gorgeous, but
speaking of,
Chalamet is a young man. So
he's a young man.
You know,
I mean,
hopefully
he can get whatever he wants.
Down on a knee anytime soon.
She's a kid with Travis Scott, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it just one?
I think.
I thought it might have been two.
Maybe. But I don't think she's other than him. She's not like a Kendall, Chloe,
correct,
Kim. Woman.
They seem happy. They
Sure.
seem happy, and that's what we're all about: is being happy in life.
Going back to the OJ thing, you know how the Kardashians got their start, right?
Well, the old man was
Robert Kardashian was a lawyer for OJ.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And people said that OJ was Courtney's father, I think, right? Or
is that a thing?
Not Courtney. Who's the other? Chloe,
Courtney, and Kim.
Yeah. I would say the ugly one, but they all look the same now.
No, Kim's the best.
Well, Kim is
actually. I saw a tweet. Someone was like, "Kim is LeBron." Like
she's so fake.
You're 22.
She's so.
She works
fake.
on her body.
They're
fake. LeBron works on his body.
He doesn't get plastic surgery. He didn't get the hair, done.
Hair
He's
transplant.
not going to Turkey. They're all fake. That's the issue. No, again,
She is, but she's still like Kim. Before she was fake, I know what she looks like. I'm not even gonna go there.
She went with Kanye. Like she's crazy.
Yeah. She's obviously.
They made a sex tape to get her name out there.
With who's that? Ray J or whatever.
Yeah, that's a weird, troubled family.
But she looks better with age. Like Chloe and them, they look worse than ever. Chloe and what's the other? It's Kim. We just said it. Courtney. They don't look good as they've been aging.
I just think Courtney looks normal.
Kim.
That's the issue. When you're standing next to rubber dolls like that, you're gonna look a certain type of way.
Hey, longevity plays.
I love the fact that I'm giving my opinion on good looks over here.
Yeah, me too. we should be going to Istanbul.
I love it.
Going to Turkey.
Yes, exactly. That ship has sailed for me, bro. That's all I know on that one. You could probably take that flight. Me, that ship has sailed. I don't think they can fix me. And you know what? If you did give me a magic pill, all right. So a pill I would take. If you said, "Hey,
you pull off bold though,"
I appreciate that, but no, it's been so long though. But if you did say like, "Hey, if you start taking these pills and rub this lotion on your head and you can grow hair again," I'd give it a shot.
Well,
I would.
I take pills, so I'm trying.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I take pills.
Well, that's what the minoxidil is what works.
Well, I do that with finasteride.
Okay.
All the tips out there for the guys losing hair. I do finasteride and minoxidil combined.
Yes, as long as you stay with
both
it.
prescriptions. I've done them for about 6 months now.
All right.
We'll see.
Keep staying with
We'll see.
Don't mess.
They say it's just like you're not really gonna grow. You could grow back,
but you're not gonna
really.
lose
You're
what
not
you
gonna
have.
lose more. Which at this point, fine. I've never. Thing is, you didn't know me years ago, but I've never had a good hairline. I've always had just a bad hairline. So as long as I don't lose more, I'm fine.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't affect me, so we're good.
It didn't bother me it until like later, but no, like it never bothered me in the beginning. Like, oh my god, I'm losing my hair. I laughed about it. I'm like,
Yeah,
whatever. I'm a young dude. Whatever, you know. But it was definitely like, wow, man, this is really coming out. Like finding in, like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Am I dying?
The shedding is a
Yeah,
tough
the shedding.
phase. It's a tough phase.
Yeah. You're like, whoa, man.
You look down on your towel after you do your hair. You're like, what the hell is this?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, man, I was there. All right, want to bring this in, and at 5 o'clock we got Sean Bedard. He's going to join us, so we will talk all things NBA. But this is a nice little path to that discussion, and this is according to Jeannie Buss, who does have a show out.
Yeah, I've debated if I want to watch that or not. It looks so bad.
I like Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson's in it,
or not? Is that her name?
Kate
Hudson. Yeah, Kate Hudson. Yeah. That's her. She plays Jeannie Buss.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Kate is strong. And that's Penny Lane. That's all you got to say there. But so she did an interview and she spoke specifically about the trade that went down. And it was NPR's Morning Edition. Wow. Okay. Very cool. Anyway, she sits down with NPR's Morning Edition and she said the following quote: We gave up a lot to get Luka. We're happy we have him. We have lost the last 2 years in a row to the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs, and we really didn't have anything that was going to look different going into the playoffs this year. Then she said, quote, Anthony Davis was complaining about where he was being played, and he wasn't happy. So I think this was a positive for both teams. They got what they were looking for. We got what we were looking for. Now, is that a lot? No. But is there anything there for you in that? Were you catching wind of that? Anthony Davis upset with his role with the Lakers?
He publicly said it.
About playing the position of the 5?
Yep. He did an interview with Shams 2 weeks before the trade, or like 2 weeks before that deadline. And he sat down with Shams and said, I want the Lakers. He was putting pressure on Lakers for the first time in his career with LA. He was putting pressure on them, and he said, I want the Lakers to get a 5. I've always been at my best when I'm playing the 4. And that was the first time he really put pressure on the Lakers. In terms of unhappy, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true that he was unhappy. I just think he'd rather be playing the 4 alongside a rim-protecting 5. And a guy who can play in that dunker as Anthony Davis operates more as a hub around the high post, top of the key. I don't think he was unhappy, though. I think that's too far to say. I don't think the trade had anything to do with Anthony Davis, and I don't think that's a comment that will sit well with Anthony Davis or his camp. Like, Jeannie, this had nothing. What Jeannie should have said, and what most Lakers officials have said, is it had nothing to do with Anthony Davis. And I think that's the truth. You had the opportunity to get one of the greatest players in the league, potentially one of the greatest 25-year-olds of all time. You're going to give up whatever necessary to acquire him. It had nothing to do with Anthony Davis being unhappy or putting pressure on the team. And so I don't really like that Jeannie said that, but it is true that he did publicly put pressure on them, that he wasn't unhappy. He just wanted the Lakers to get a 5 because he likes playing the 4.
Yeah, I kind of subscribe to what you were saying earlier. Like, we didn't see anything different happening this year versus the Denver Nuggets in the past 2 seasons. And I kind of like, okay, I see that.
The Lakers had no future. They were gifted the ultimate lifeline by getting approached by Nico Harrison to do that deal. They had no future. LeBron was fading out. He was really, to start this season, he wasn't great. It was probably the worst start to a season of his entire career this year. He was obviously getting older, only a couple years left. Anthony Davis, you can't win with him as your best, even your second best player, maybe. They had no future, and they were just gifted a lifeline.
Yeah, sometimes you stumble and you walk down the road and all of a sudden you find that briefcase full of money. You know, sometimes it happens. Yeah, right. No,
that's exactly what happened.
And it's exactly what did happen. It's ridiculous. Now, the Dallas Mavericks, quickly on this, because everyone is floating the idea that Anthony Davis shouldn't play another minute for them and they need to trade him this offseason. Is that how this is going to play out?
I think it should. I don't know what Nico Harrison's plan is. Here's what's becoming increasingly clear about Nico Harrison is that, and this is what I said at the start, this was a personal move because this was Nico Harrison does not like Luka Doncic. But it's also clear that Luka Doncic knew he was the most powerful person in that organization, and Nico Harrison had a bruised ego. Nico Harrison said, Luka, you don't treat me with as much respect as you should. You treat Mark Cuban and maybe Jason Kidd, and we've just never had a great relationship. And he didn't like some of Luka's antics, which were justifiable for the best player, most powerful player in an organization. And Nico Harrison had such a bruised ego, and he's such a fragile ego that he said, you know what? I'm taking this franchise back. I'm taking the power back from the player, the power back from Luka Doncic, and I'm getting rid of you, knowing that this is going to make the team worse. He was sacrificing potential championship contention because of his ego, his fragile ego, that he wanted to get rid of Luka Doncic because he didn't like some of Doncic's antics and maybe he didn't like Doncic at all as a person. So now I don't really know what Nico Harrison's plan is. You got rid of Luka Doncic. You know you're not going to be there in 3 to 4 years. Do you resign now? Or do you and you just let the Mavs blow it up? Or do you try to play this out with Kyrie coming off an ACL injury, Anthony Davis coming back off injury? You still got Clay, who has to be just furious that he signed with the Mavs, especially because it was between the Lakers and Mavs he was between.
Wow.
So he has to be just furious he made that decision. So I don't know what Nico Harrison's play is. If he's sticking around for maybe 1 to 2 more years and he's going to see this thing out, you can't trade Anthony Davis, obviously, because you got to see what you can do with a healthy Anthony Davis and Kyrie coming back and maybe add some pieces in free agency. Otherwise, we know Nico Harrison is getting fired in the next 2 years. Maybe he just resigns, and maybe he just said, I blew this thing up and I don't really care. I'm on my way out. That's how little I care about the organization. That's how little I care about the city. I just didn't like Luka Doncic. And maybe he resigns because I don't know how this is going to play out. He knows for a fact. He'll never admit this. He knows for a fact he will not be the GM of that team by 2027.
What a disaster.
The worst situation in sports.
Nico, he's got to be careful. Like, this, there's some crazy people out there, and what he did to that organization, they were running around with the MFFL tags out there, man. They are Mad fans for life, Nico. And you just ripped that team apart and traded Luka Doncic.
And he didn't even
open it up.
But he didn't even consider the fabric of that city and the fabric of that fan base, of how devastated they would be because they were attached to this player. Like, this guy came from overseas, came from Slovenia. He was Dallas's guy. Dallas was the only city in America he ever lived in, and they embraced him. And he didn't even consider that how this would affect the fabric of the city and the fabric of the fan base. It's just a sad situation all around. And of course, the ownership deserves blame too. But yeah, it's just upsetting.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day where I do feel a little bad for Dallas Mavericks fans at this point in time because of what took place. And then I'm starting to feel a little bad for like the Phoenix Suns players, like Kevin Durant. Like clearly Kevin Durant's trying his ass off out there and it's just not happening, not working. And it is what it is. But man, he's getting just crushed and he can't do anything right. And he's still one of the best players in the game, one of the best scorers. It's just odd, but whatever.
How about Colin Gillespie, though? Huge
shout out,
huge shot, and then a 10 points in the fourth quarter the other night. And then KD acknowledged his competitiveness. Guy who's been around the G League a lot. Actually, when he tore his Achilles, I believe, that last game in that Final Four for Nova, or was that the Elite Eight? And then they went to the Final Four and lost in 2022. And then he was undrafted. And he sat out that whole year, but won a championship his first year with the Nuggets because that was his first year in the league. And so he's really been playing mostly G League throughout his career. But what a call up, what a performance by him. Always take Jay Wright's guys.
Yeah.
Just always take a chance on Jay Wright's guys. It'll always work out.
Get Jay Wright back. What? Daily Ticket rolling on. 5 o'clock hours coming up next. Sam Oshtry hanging. We're going to bring Sean Barnard in. Picks and roll. We're running 3 wide. We'll talk a little 76ers. They're playing the Celtics. That's the only reason why we're going to discuss it. Nobody is really taking the floor for either team. It's pretty ridiculous. But we'll talk a little bit about that. Get some plays from the card. We'll go big picture on the contenders versus pretenders. A lot to do. 5 o'clock hour coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Cinderella stories are fun until they bust your bankroll. The madness is coming.
Cooper there to clean it up. A throwdown with 2 hands.
Keep it locked right here to The Gambler.
Hey, Sean Brace here. Now, do you own or manage a business here in Philadelphia? Are you unsure where to start when it comes to advertising? Well, here's a surprise. Fox Sports The Gambler, your local iHeart station, is the one place you can get it all. From radio and podcast ads to social media and digital. And we can get local voices like mine spreading the word about your business. So if you're looking for someone to take care of all of your ad needs, no matter your budget, call 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart today.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
If Ozempic is effective, Future Health gets 58% better results with their prescribed weight loss program. Customers report losing 35 pounds in 3 months. Go now to tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Data based on independent study sponsored by Future Health. Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion.
Febreze.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
We rely on our cars a lot, but maintenance or breakdowns shouldn't slow us down. Say hello to Cruisin', your complete car care solution. Download the Cruisin' app to quickly order roadside assistance for flats, jump starts, lockouts, and more. You can even request mobile oil changes and car detailing. all from a peer-to-peer network of trusted help. Download the Cruisin' app and discover car care redefined. Go to CRUZENapp.com. Cruisin', complete auto care at your fingertips.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com.
A wind advisory is in effect now through 4 p.m. on Friday. Those winds will be cranking up overnight throughout your Friday between 40 and 45 mile an hour gusts. In addition to that, temperature is going to stay on the cool side, right around 50 degrees for a high after 33 for a low tonight. But tomorrow with those winds, it's going to feel more like the low to the middle 40s. I'm meteorologist Adam Joseph with your 6ABC forecast.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Shop Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale. See a sleep expert and get matched with your perfect bed so you sleep better at night. You'll even get 120 nights to love it or your money back. Restrictions apply.
Get ready for the biggest night in podcasting.
The iHeart Podcast Award goes to...
Join us for our 2025 iHeart Podcast Awards, live from Austin, Texas at South by Southwest.
Celebrating the most innovative and influential voices in the podcasting world.
Push boundaries.
Sit down with amazing guests every week.
And engage audiences in new, remarkable ways.
Don't miss our 2025 iHeart Podcast Awards.
Watch on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel and listen right here.
Monday night at 11.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
A lot of volume out there for the Thursday drive home. We've got delays on the Schuylkill eastbound, 202 to Belmont and Boulevard to South, westbound Jan University Teacher Boulevard to Belmont. So Gladwood to Conshohocken. On enough delays on the Vine Expressway both ways, Schuylkill to 95, 95 northbound Jan Vine Expressway up to Bridge, then Cotman to Academy with a broken down tractor trailer in the right lane. Further north, Jan approaching and exiting at Street Road, south of 95 heavy, Cotman to Bridge, and 420 to the Commodore Barry. All right, to tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Try a $3 Son of Baconator today. Big news, bacon lovers. Wendy's Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. For just $3, you get crispy, crunchy apple smoked bacon, 2 juicy beef patties, and plenty of cheese on a burger. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
Justin Jude, Global CEO of LKQ Corporation.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm cursing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on there.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply for J.D. Power 2024 award information. Visit jdpower.com/awards.
I'm Jenna Fisher. If you're an employer, you have the power to save lives. The Screening Time Off program encourages employees to take time to step out for recommended screenings. Be the world's best boss. Join Screening Time Off. Learn more at workingwithcancerpledge.com.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Philadelphia, Radnor, and Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Michelle Ferrari, licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Number 1 on your car radio preset hand, the new and improved iHeart Radio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, the Gambler.
LeBron, open three. 22 seasons, 40 years of age. LeBron James, 50,002 points.
Crowd is still buzzing after LeBron made a routine three-pointer to go over the 50,000 mark.
Oh, that's all. 50,000 points. How about that, sports fans? Bring it on in. 5 p.m. hour here on The Gambler. Picks and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Sam Oshtry hanging from The Score, joining us, representing spot over at DraftKings Sportsbook, does a great job covering all things NBA and the Sixers for us here on The Gambler. Sean Barnard, gentlemen, I can't wait to talk all things NBA with you, and I want to start right there, because the number one story in sports, period, is LeBron James and the L.A. Lakers. What are we missing, though? Because I think we are getting a little caught up, prisoner in the moment, 7-2 with Luka. But let's take it a step further. Is there something that you want to learn tonight against the Knicks? They have a game coming up on Saturday that's going to be pretty difficult. Who are they playing Saturday? Damn it, I forget. Do you know, Sean Barnard?
I'm fact checking you right now. They're playing the Celtics on Saturday.
Celtics, there you go. That is a big one. So, what are we missing? What are we expected to learn here? Or have we seen enough and we know what LeBron consists of? We know how good Luka is. They're putting it together a little bit faster than what we thought. And this is a championship contender. Sean Barnard, take it away.
I mean, the number one thing that stands out that I've been surprised by has been the defensive numbers, that they've been off the charts defensively, and that's really the biggest concern. That's the question of, can Luka Doncic compete at this level? Is there the infrastructure built around him to kind of make up for some of those defensive shortcomings? Now, granted, I've stood up here 10 toes down and talked about how I think those are very overblown, the defensive, shortcomings that Luka does have. I don't think it's a question of ability with Luka. I've seen this guy lock in for stretches of time and play high caliber NBA defense, but there certainly are the stretches where he does not assert that level of energy. But he has been locked in with this Lakers tenure. They're top 5 in just about every defensive metric since the trade, which is not something I would have expected there. I am curious to see if that is sustainable. I think the Celtics will be a much clearer measuring stick matchup than tonight against the Knicks, even though there's certainly takeaways that can be had from every game with the Lakers right now. But if that defensive level can keep up, and I'm not certain that it can, that's really the story to me with this Lakers team.
Yeah, and I will just say this. Luka on the defensive side of the ball is not Peyton Pritchard.
No.
Right? He's got his deficiencies. Sure, he's flawed as a defender, and we saw that full-fledged
I'm not
last year.
giving any praise to Peyton Pritchard these days.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Look, you can target Peyton Pritchard, but he's a dog. Like he'll put in the effort. He'll put in the effort for sure.
One guy's 6'1". How tall is Peyton Pritchard?
He's about 6 foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other guy is pretty damn
6'7".
tall.
Yeah.
6'7". Yeah, exactly. Sam, what do you say to that?
Yeah, they have the number one defense in the entire league over the last 15 games. And I'm with Sean where can't really understand it. Like when you look at LeBron, you look at Luka, you look at Austin Reeves, that should be a perimeter defense that struggles. Part of it is the buy-in from LeBron James right now defensively has been off the charts. You didn't see the first 3 or 4 months of this, really the first 3 months of the season. He was a guy that would not move within like a 5-foot radius defensively, just pointing at guys, not closing out, barely jumping for offensive rebounds or defensive rebounds. He didn't play any defense, like none. Now he's a guy, and they were better without him on the court, or with LeBron on the bench. Now he's a guy that is so locked in defensively and playing so hard. It's all an effort thing. Like defense is really an effort thing. He obviously has the IQ, one of the greatest IQs in the sports history. So he has the IQ. It's an effort thing, and it's really containing his energy as because he has to work on the offensive end. But now he's so locked in defensively that this team has the best defense in the league over the last 15 games, which is hard to imagine when you give up Anthony Davis. Jackson Hayes is a fine center. He's been playing better than I thought he would, but he's not the answer long-term at the 5. What they do a lot is play Rui at the 5 and Dorian Finney-Smith at the 4 with those other 3 guys, and that those smaller lineups look good defensively. They switch everything constantly. It's hard to see how this team is so good defensively, but they are. Number 1 defense in the league over the last 15 games.
Yeah, LeBron and the Lakers rolled into MSG on February 1st and won 128-112. Tonight, again, they're home. They were 11-point dogs in that one. 11.
Well, let me tell you that right before that was the night. That was the night of the trade. After that game, was when Anthony Davis was shipped off.
There it is. Okay, so
Anthony Davis didn't play. He was back in LA, and they were out to dinner at in New York City. LeBron and all them. LeBron got the call. It was that night.
Right. How about that? Now LeBron knew though. He tells people he didn't know. Yeah, he knew.
Well, knew when? Like knew before the report.
He knew that
he didn't know 12 hours prior. I don't think he knew.
Knew that.
I think there's no way in my mind this was done over a 12-hour span. I have to imagine that there was growing conversation.
I completely agree with that, the trade, but you think LeBron knew?
Well, I think he was
because here's the thing.
He was given he was brought into the office said there was a chance that Anthony Davis could be
I don't think so for a second, because here's the thing. LeBron's agent is Rich Paul. That's also Anthony Davis' agent.
True,
LeBron hears that news. He's going right to Rich Paul. Obviously, Rich Paul is Anthony Davis' agent. He's blowing this up. Or not blowing it up, but it somehow gets leaked. I don't think LeBron. Obviously, Pelinka and Jeannie Buss and them knew for weeks.
Yes.
I don't think LeBron knew until maybe an hour before he was reported.
I think Luka Doncic fits the short list of players that you kind of there's an unsaid understanding between LeBron James and the front office for that type of transaction, and the shockwaves that it has created across the entire sports world, I think speak for itself. It's still to this day, even having processed it a month later, it's still the dumbest trade I can think of in sports history. It is unprecedented that actually happens, and as a guy who is sort of a LeBron hater, sort of a Laker hater, I hate that they just stumbled into this next generation, probably face of the entire NBA, because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, no, and I was talking about buying jerseys earlier today, Sean, but I'm going to buy an Austin Reeves jersey. Is that a thumbs up or clearly a thumbs down for you on that one?
I don't hate it. I like Reeves. I've liked him since the Oklahoma days, so I can respect that. Whenever a guy like that, I'm a bigger fan of getting the college jersey, like a Reeves Oklahoma jersey would be sick.
Yeah, all right.
Well, he wanted to get a Connect Tennessee one.
Yeah,
that would be fire.
I didn't pull the trigger on that last year. That was a mistake by me. All right, back over to tonight's game. Let's talk about the game itself. Right now in DraftKings Sportsbook, again, we are looking at slight movement, number coming down. Lakers are 3-point favorites. Sean Barnard, I'll start with you. Break this one down. Where are you at as far as an angle is concerned? Is there a prop that you have your eye on from a player, respected player, or is this just a side play for you with the Lakers or Knicks?
Yeah, I like the Lakers to cover the -3 here, that I'm a far bigger believer in what they're doing than what the Knicks have done. And frankly, I see more and more reasons to be concerned with this Knicks team. So I think this is a little bit of these two teams trending in the opposite directions here. There's still some growing pains with this Lakers team figuring out how to play together, but you can just see the energy level that LeBron James have. He looks rejuvenated out there. And that is Luka Doncic starting to come in his own, settle off. That he did have those struggles shooting in the first couple games. He's now back to Luka Doncic that we've kind of come to know. And so frankly, I think the Lakers have a, I don't want to say easy job with this one, but I think they comfortably control this game from start to finish. I do like Luka's props. I'm going right to the head of the snake here, and I do think Luka is that guy. I do like the over 28.5 here. We'll be curious to see how they defend him, but I think this is going to be a score-first mentality from Luka. And one of the things that I've really kind of noticed, I would say, is Luka is an attack-minded guy. He's a terrific playmaker, but he's a score-first player. It's kind of the opposite with LeBron, especially at this stage in his career. So it feels like there's this feel-out process in every game where it's, Luka, go see if you got it tonight, if you're red hot, and just take over. And there's nights where that absolutely is the case here. So even the first quarter numbers, I think, are worth taking a peek at with Luka Doncic, because I do think he gets the first seat at the table and first opportunity to score with this Lakers team. And I think that's probably going to be the theme of tonight's game.
All right, Sam, over to you. 3-point spread, 231 is our total.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I like the Knicks. And the reason is because I think this is a good matchup for Tom Thibodeau to finally play Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns extended minutes together. Assuming Mitchell Robinson plays, he's questionable tonight. But you haven't really seen that. Mitchell Robinson returned like three games ago, and you haven't really seen them play extended minutes. That first game, him and Cat didn't play at all together because Cat had some foul trouble. Mitch Robinson only played like 12 or 13 minutes. But this is the time to do it, because that's the key for the Knicks moving forward, is those two guys have to get on the floor together because they have to become a better defensive group. Like this Knicks team, and Sean was on this early, where he hasn't been on the Knicks probably because of the rivalry with the Sixers. I went back to last year, but Sean has been off the Knicks this entire year, and I was all over them. And I'm starting to get off the New York wagon. And a big reason is because the identity of this team is so different than last year. Last year, they were this great defensive team, this gritty group. The connectivity was awesome. And now they've sacrificed so much defense for offense. And their offense is phenomenal. And I get it. Getting Mikal Bridges, getting Karl-Anthony Towns, those were the right moves. But they sacrificed defensively. They were the best offensive rebounding team in the entire league last year, and one of the best defensive teams. Now they're not even the top half of the league in defense, and they're not a top 10 team in offensive rebounds. Like, that is a completely different identity from your tough, gritty, defensive-minded group. But you can get back to that by playing Mitchell Robinson at the 5, because that, along with Karl-Anthony Towns, because Karl-Anthony Towns is a guy you can target if he's your center. And that's why I don't think this Knicks team can make a real run, because if Karl-Anthony Towns is playing your 5 for extended minutes, teams will just exploit him in the pick and roll, and he's not a good 5 center. He's good as a 5 offensively because he can stretch the floor. As a center, he's not. So now you bring in Mitchell Robinson, and you can pair them two, and your defense goes to a whole new level if Mitchell Robinson can actually stay healthy and play real minutes. And they haven't experimented with that too much since Mitchell Robinson's been back, but this is the matchup to do it, because the Lakers do not have great center depth at all. Obviously, it's just Jackson Hayes, and Alex Len might play a few minutes. They go small with Rui at the 5, but when you're playing against a small team like that, you can counter and go big with Mitchell Robinson, Karl-Anthony Towns, get back to Josh Hart, crashing the offensive boards and being a dog on those boards. This is the matchup to try that and do that. So I like the Knicks tonight, but I'm not really that high on the Knicks long-term for everything I just laid out.
Yeah, I'm right there with you as far as the long-term. And I was right there with you to start the season. I actually thought the Knicks were going to be a good team. They are a good team, but when we're talking about winning it all, all you got to do is look at the record versus winning teams, and it tells you exactly what you need to know. This is the first game of a 5-game road trip on the West Coast for the Knicks. Brunson's been playing his ass off. Of course, we know what the Knicks are capable of, but if the Lakers play their game tonight, I think they find a way to win another ball game. Hopefully it's a good one, as we're all going to be staying up a little bit later here to watch this one on the West Coast. Rob checking in. We love the comments. He said, I've been wanting to talk trash on Pritchard every year, but my squad is never on the Celtics level, so my words are obsolete. Yep, I totally agree with you on that one. And then he also said the guy in the middle made a good point. That's Sean Brace, the guy in the middle. Is not kidding. That is Sam Oshtry from The Score. Luka can carry the offensive load so LeBron can play better defense. Unreal trade by the Lakers. My only pushback is I think LeBron has been playing good defense all season long.
I would push back.
No?
Yeah, no. The first 3 months of the season.
Well, first 3 months he came out a little sluggish. Okay, just before the trade.
Before the trade, their defense was trending in the right direction.
Okay.
He started buying in more for sure.
Not so much back at the beginning of the season. You're right about that. But definitely before the trade, I felt like he was playing better defensively and buying in a little bit more for JJ Redick.
Yeah, and part of that is, I mean, JJ Redick's done an awesome job, but part of it is he doesn't have to really use that much energy offensively anymore. Like LeBron was a guy that had to set the table, cook, eat, and do the dishes before. Now he literally just has to eat. He has the guy who can set the table. He has a guy who can cook, and a guy who can do the dishes.
My wife is listening right now. She's just like, "Are you kidding me? That's what I do every night."
So then your wife is Luka, and you're just the one eating. You're LeBron.
Wow. Exactly. That's exactly.
So this is a complete game changer for LeBron because of that. Because now he just has to play more off the ball, and a lot of these cuts that you're seeing when Luka's running the pick and roll with some of with Rui or Jackson Hayes or whoever it is, like LeBron is playing off the ball and Luka's just setting him up. And when you really think about it, look at LeBron's how many teammates he's played with in his career that are Hall of Famers, like Dwayne Wade, Ray Allen, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, Dwight Howard, even though it was at the tail end of his career, Anthony Davis. Those are so many Hall of Famers. LeBron is in year 22 at 40 years old. This is the best teammate he's ever had in his career.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I agree. Yeah. I asked Sean this. I asked you last time we spoke, Sean. I said, they won the championship in the bubble. Putting that to the side with the bubble, they were still a damn good team. This team right now just feels like it has something extra. Now, getting into the details of that team that won the championship, I still feel like with Luka and you get Anthony Davis at his prime, I'm going to take Luka. I'm going to take this team right here, right now.
Luka Doncic will be a top 5 player in the NBA for the rest of his entire career. That's who he is as a basketball player, and that's him in current form. This is not he could grow into this. This is who he is as a basketball player currently. And I know I've made this point before, but it felt like the design of this Lakers team was for LeBron to pass the baton to Anthony Davis, for him to be that next face. In reality, he's not quite that guy. He's a very good basketball player, top 10 player in the league. I'm not fighting any of that, but he's not Luka Doncic, man. And it feels like there's this renewed sense of purpose in LeBron James, that he can now be the teacher, that he doesn't have to be the guy that is the clear-cut face of the team, the guy doing all the production. There can be this, I'm showing you the way. This is how you are the best player on a championship team. This is how you are the face of the NBA in the way that the path is fully laid out. So I do think there's this renewed energy in LeBron. And Sam, I thought, kind of nailed it earlier. LeBron was playing old man defense for most of the first half of the season. It was the pointing, you go here, directing, not actually doing anything. That's what it was at the start of the year. He's now locked in, and we know who he is. Like, we know he's capable. It is an effort thing.
He's chasing people down. He's getting those swats again back in his repertoire. You're right about that. Sean Barnard, do you know why Luka Doncic wears 77?
I believe he started as 7, and then I don't know what initially led it to be 77. So I don't have the full answer there, but I'm pretty sure he originally was number 7.
I do have the answer, and we asked this earlier.
I had no idea.
Yeah, this dude, Vasilis Spalionis. He is a European basketball player. Actually got a little run with the Houston Rockets. He's got a great look. He's a bald man. He's balding. He's a balding white dude out there.
We respect those.
Yes, we respect those guys. Exactly. Anyway, so he wore 7. Number 7 was already taken for when he was drafted by the Mavericks, so he went double 7s.
Wild they don't make that guy change numbers, by the way.
Yeah, who the hell was 7 that did not change his number at that point?
I like the 77 more than I would the 7.
Oh, man, I hate the 77. 77 it's an offensive lineman.
It's unique.
Like what was it? Taj Gibson was wearing like 68 last year. Like, I like that.
So
well, according to Nico Harrison, he weighs as much as an offensive lineman.
Oh, there it is. All right. Anything else for tonight? We're looking at Karl Anthony Towns coming back here, bombing some threes. Are we looking at anything else as far as Lakers and Knicks tonight?
Yeah, nothing super jumps off to me for this game. I'm still trying to get like a full feel for the way JJ Redick is staggering the rotations and the type of minutes. I'm pretty optimistic. I've really liked what I've seen from Rui Hachimura. I think he's becoming a pretty integral part of this Lakers team. Not that he wasn't already, but that's a guy I kind of have my eyes on. Josh Hart, I could see doing some damage on the offensive glass, particularly today. His rebounding prop is a little intriguing to me, even though I think 9.5 is a good takeable number for Josh Hart, that he is just pure effort. So that's probably my favorite prop to lay it out. Would be Luka points and Josh Hart rebounds at over 9.5 there.
All right. Let's move off of that one and slide on down the card here via DraftKings Sportsbook. And let's talk about the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah. No one's playing in this game, Sean. Let's start with you. Who the hell is getting action tonight? And should we be looking at Pritchard again? Should we be looking at White again and just say, you know what? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Let's go right back to those two guys.
I do like Pritchard to have a day today. I do. I understand he might not be the 40-point eruption, 10 3-pointers the way that it was in the previous game here, but I still think that there's no clear answer for the Sixers perimeter defense for what he is. Peyton Pritchard is a legitimately good NBA player at this point. This isn't just some guy splash in the pan. He is exactly who he is. He's one of the best like one-on-one scorers in the game, I would say, that he is that level and off the bench kind of scoring punch. So with all the injuries that are coming down, no Kristaps Porzingis, it does feel like the Celtics have split it, that they're going to rest Jaylen Brown one night, Jason Tatum the other. So I would expect Tatum to step back in tonight with Brown taking a night off there would be my guess. But I do like Pritchard's number there. Also, if Quentin Grimes does suit up, I think we get the Quentin Grimes showcase once again. That man has earned himself a couple extra millions at the conclusion of this season. So shout out Quentin Grimes. I don't mind Oubre's scoring number at 18.5 there. Somebody's got to shoot the ball and somebody has to score for the Sixers team. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty not enjoyable basketball game to watch, I would guess.
Yeah, I did misspeak a little bit on that one as far as I misspoke on Jason Tatum getting action tonight. His number on DraftKings Sportsbook, 30.5 at this point in time. Pritchard is at 19.5. Derek White, 20.5. Quentin Grimes is listed at right now on DK, 18.5, and Oubre at 17.5, as Sean just pointed out. Sam, is there anything in your mind that would push you to the 76ers as far as the point spread is concerned at 13.5?
Honestly, yeah. Like, I'm not going to play it. But this feels like a game where it's like the Sixers, I mean, Maxey, Paul George, Embiid, we know they're all out. This feels like a game where their guys might just play really hard, and it might just come down to the Sixers guys might play harder again, like Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre, these guys who are still giving maximum effort. Andre Drummond has been playing pretty hard recently. These are guys who are giving maximum effort right now, even though they're playing for nothing from a team standpoint. So it feels like it could be a closer game than people might expect. Again, the Celtics, this is a team that's just waiting until April comes around, just waiting for the playoffs at this point. This is a game they're not necessarily going to get up for. Usually they would against the Sixers, but at home against this Sixers lineup, they wouldn't. So I could see the Sixers actually competing more than people would expect just based off of effort. Because like a lot of these March games, when it's bad teams versus good teams, it comes down to who's playing harder. And the Sixers might play harder.
We'll always have that Christmas win over the Celtics, man.
Yeah.
We'll always have that to hang the hat on this
Best
season.
moment of the season by far.
And then now we got they're holding. Oh, we're gonna break out the black jerseys next year over the
AIs. Yeah. Well, they got to sell tickets somehow.
Are those black jerseys really making you go to a game?
Well, I mean, not me because I'm there for the basketball, but like for kids, yeah.
My hot take on those has always been I think those jerseys are all time overrated. I think they're cool.
I agree.
Allen Iverson wore them, but you could have put AI in a trash bag and he would have made it look cool because that's who AI is. I don't actually think there's anything that special about the black jerseys. I get giving it a shot. It'll be cool in alternate days or whatever, but I think they're an all-time overrated jersey.
Yeah, I actually like that take a lot.
I agree. I've always been those logos
because like
from that time.
When have you ever seen anyone repping that jersey if it's not AI? Like what old player you see repping that jersey?
The fabric, like that.
It's weird fabric.
The shininess on it. I was never a fan of it at all. But people they do get a lot of buzz on the timeline for whatever reason it is. All right. So again, tonight we're looking at Pritchard. Where are you willing to go, Sean Barnard? Back to you as far as Pritchard is concerned. Are we looking at threes? Because that seems to be what they're going to do. Will the Sixers have any perimeter defense that are going to be able to limit that? Again, I don't think he's going to shoot 9 or make 9 like he did last night, but potentially he will be continuing to shoot those threes. So where do you stand on that?
Yeah, 4.5 is the line for 3-pointers, which feels like a lot, but he will launch them there. I probably prefer the points because I do think Pritchard is a guy that is more capable as a guy attacking the basket than he gets credit, that he can beat guys off the dribble. He's one of the, again, I think he's in that category of one of the better one-on-one scorers in the entire NBA. Now, he has other limitations in his game. There's no way around that, but as far as the actual prop, I think I'm taking a swing at 25 points at plus 200 for Peyton Pritchard here. Somebody's got to shoot the ball for the Celtics in the same way here. I think Pritchard is like itching at the opportunity. He's one of those guys that like, this is my chance to shine. And I do think he's going to make it happen. So I don't see a clear answer on the Sixers defense. Sign me up for 25 points for Peyton Pritchard on plus 200 odds there.
I like Sam Hauser's points over 12 or I believe it's 12 or 12.5. Probably 12.5, but you can get 12 for minus 12 plus for minus 110 on DraftKings. I like Sam Hauser because it kind of just feels like Peyton Pritchard doesn't he doesn't force shots, which was so impressive about his scoring output last night, but really all throughout this entire season. He doesn't force shots. He really lets them come to him. And that's the same with Sam Hauser. And it feels like, all right, last night was Peyton Pritchard's night. This could be Sam Hauser's night, who's had an up and down season. He really hasn't, from a scoring perspective, he really hasn't been as good as you would kind of hope, because he's there to score. Defensively, he gets targeted all the time, and he's really unplayable sometimes because of how much they target him defensively. But his shooting hasn't been great this season. I mean, he's still a 40% shooter, but down from what he was last year. Was a 43% three-point shooter, I believe the number is. So I feel like this could be a Sam Hauser game.
Sam Hauser on DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, that is what Sam Oshtry is saying to keep your eyes out for it. And I'm sure it had nothing to do with the fact that he's going by the name there, but that's all right. All right, let's keep it moving off of that game. Again, we're not really going to sell the idea that the Sixers are going to keep this close. It should be ugly. If I'm taking this one, I'm going to give the 13.5. Moving on, though, let's talk a little about the Golden State Warriors, who are 9-1 with Jimmy Butler now in the mix. And this team looks like they are rejuvenated. Of course, we know what Steph Curry is capable of, but I am surprised that they are winning the games the way that they are. Sean Bernard, I'll start with you on this one. Should we expect anything different over these next 2 months? Does this thing feel like it's going to blow up eventually? Is Jimmy Butler being a good soldier in your mind because he got the 3-year deal? Where are you at right now with what they're calling the Butler bump?
Yeah, I think the Jimmy Butler unhappiness gets sugarcoated in a lot of ways. It always boils down to what that contract situation is. And the bottom line here is he was satisfied with that. They did give him the extension he desired. That's what created this entire situation. But that means you have a happy Jimmy Butler for the short term here. So will be interesting in the longer view how this plays out. But for this specific season, I am buying into what this Warriors team is doing. I'm impressed with the chemistry that Butler is showing with Steph Curry, with Draymond Green. And I think honestly more encouraging than what Butler has specifically brought has been what it has brought out in Steph Curry, that just having another ball handler, a guy who can create for him, use his off-ball gravity, getting Steph off the ball, which I thought he was way too more of a traditional ball handler for a good part of the season. It feels like the Warriors are back stylistically in the way that they are playing. So there will be some growing pains. I don't expect it to be tonight against the Brooklyn Nets, even though I will be rooting against the Nets as I'm a full-time Nets and Raptors fan for the remainder of the season with the lottery odds in mind and the Sixers spot in the standings there. But the bottom line is I am buying what this Warriors team is selling. I think they roll pretty easily against the Nets tonight, and I do have my eyes on them in a playoff perspective.
Sean, remember I gave you a plus 130 Warriors to make the playoffs?
Yep.
You know what that number is now?
Where you at?
Minus 2,000. They're out of the play. They're out of the play as the 6th seed. And the crazy thing about the Jimmy Butler experience so far is he's shooting 10% from 3 with the Warriors. In 10 games with the Warriors, shooting 10% from 3. Obviously, very low volume, but still 10%. He's not a 3. I think he will regress back to the mean at some point and get those numbers up, but by the playoffs. But he's not a 3-point shooter, but he's still excelling with the Warriors. And it's because of what Sean just talked about, which is he's such a relief for Steph Curry, who had to play so much on ball because he was the only on ball creator for the Warriors before they got Jimmy Butler. Now Steph, who excels moving without the basketball. I mean, he's really at his best throughout his career when he's moving without the basketball and he's impossible to guard because his conditioning is so great and he's constantly swirling and his gravity goes all the way out to half court essentially because he's that great of a 3-point shooter. So now he can play more off the ball and you have Jimmy Butler as a legitimate on-ball creator. Him and Draymond's chemistry has been great. I talked about Jimmy Butler in these split actions. As a cutter, as a screener, like a lot of times in their split actions, it's you pass the ball to Draymond Green either at the mid post or a dunker spot, and it's Jimmy Butler setting a screen for Steph Curry, and Jimmy Butler might slip it. Steph Curry might pop to the 3-point line, and those are unguardable actions between those two. So this is what Jimmy Butler has brought to the Warriors, and I told you guys they're the 3rd best team in the West since they made that trade. I don't know if it's them or the Lakers for that 3rd best spot right now. Maybe even the Nuggets. I'm not convinced that they might be number 2. But this Warriors team is a legitimate threat in the playoffs. Long-term picture. I think if they seed well and they don't get a matchup with OKC in the first 2 rounds, we could be looking at a Western Conference Finals appearance for the Warriors.
He's a dog, man. You brought him in, and when he's a happy dog, he's a damn good player.
And that's what's funny about the Jimmy Butler thing. It's like, he's had such a great attitude these first few weeks. Like, yes, obviously he has a great attitude. He's just coming to a new place. This is what everyone says in Minnesota, in Philly, with the Heat. He's always had a great attitude when he initially arrives. We'll see what happens in a year from now.
All right. Well, they're in action tonight. They're taking on the Brooklyn Nets. They're on that road trip. There was a rumor that I wanted to bring up that Karl Anthony Towns didn't want to compete against Jimmy Butler. Did you see that? So he skipped the game.
Is that true?
I will say, to put a little bit of a lid on it, I know that there is some health stuff in the Karl Anthony Towns family right now. So that is why there was the absence there. So I'll throw a little lid on that one.
Yeah. All right. Warriors 11-point favorites tonight, 223. Anything you're looking at, Sean Barnard, I'll start with you.
I think I can't see any way to talk myself into the Nets competing in this game, to be perfectly honest. I'll be rooting for them. I do like this Brooklyn team, and I do think that once they got a squad, Jordy Fernandez is going to have that team cooking right there. Really impressed with the way they compete on a night-to-night basis. But I think this is about the Warriors still playing through their stuff, figuring out exactly who they are as the team, and continuing to build off the success that they had. So I think they roll in favor of the -11 here. If I'm going to take anything from a player prop department, I still think the Steph numbers are a little low, 25.5 here. There's been a huge resurgence. He's averaging 23.6 on the season, but really, like, the freedom that he has off ball, it feels like Steph Curry again. So in the same way that we've kind of talked about LeBron James turning back the clock, I feel something similar watching Steph Curry lately, and that dude can still just go on a run individually in a way that no other player in the league can. So I like the Steph Curry props there, but not a ton jumps out to me in this game.
Sam?
Yeah, I was just talking about Jimmy Butler, how he hasn't made any threes. Eventually, he's shooting 10%, doesn't really shoot them. Eventually, he's going to start hitting threes, and I think you're going to see more of a volume. He's plus 115 to make one. I think that's worth it at plus money. Like, eventually, he's going to start making and shooting more threes, and he doesn't really need to, as I just explained, with his role on that team, but it's going to happen. I think this is going to be a blowout, too, so I'd like laying the Warriors -11. But Jimmy Butler 1-3, just 1-3 at plus 115 at plus money. I think it's worth it.
Sprinkle. I
Why
like
not?
it. Yeah. I get down with it. You know what else I get down with? I get down with $100 million contracts for 5 years awarded to Stephen A. Smith. Breaking news on the timeline.
Potential next president, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, I was going to say that apparently there's a clause in that if he makes a presidential run and he has to do all those appearances and everything, that number shrinks. So I think we can cut out the idea of him running for president.
What a world.
I don't know.
Well, look,
if you could become president, man, you
don't make that much as president.
Yeah, BS.
Not based on the presidential
BS.
salary.
Yeah,
not based on the presidential salary.
It don't matter about that salary. You donate that salary. That salary means nothing. You can do whatever you want if you're president.
What do you think's crazier? What do you think's crazier? Stephen A. Smith making $100 million to be at ESPN, or Stephen A. Smith potentially running for president of the United States?
I don't know. Him running for president is the craziest thing. He has no idea, and he's incredible.
He said it as such that he has no idea.
I know.
He said this,
but he's still going on The View and everything. He's still doing the appearances like of someone who would be running for president.
He's got his toe in the water.
I will say
he definitely does.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I respect how talented he is. I mean, he's incredibly talented. I'll never turn on First Take ever in my life to watch what they're talking about. But I do respect how talented he is. He knows nothing about politics. You can get away in sports just using incredibly big words like blasphemous and just screaming and yelling takes. If you were to talk policy about if we should be donating money to Ukraine still and providing aid, could you imagine how that conversation would go?
I don't know. I kind of think big words and talking nonsense plays in that situation too. There's one thing Stephen A. Smith can do. It's debate, which is why, like, if he actually wants to run this, he can make some noise. It's crazy.
But Trump does the opposite of big words. He does little words, like very good.
I do know this much. Whatever he's going to be handed in 4 years, if he was to be the president, that's not going to be easy. So he might want to think long and hard about that one as well. But at this point in time, congratulations to Stephen A. And hey, man, he's worth it. ESPN put out all their backing behind him and handed the keys over to the organization straight to him. So it only makes sense to reward him. If you're going to ride with him on everything, then do it.
I'm really glad that they're paying him $100 million, but got rid of Zach Lowe, the greatest basketball analyst that I've ever heard. It's really worth investment. So we can. Wait, Sean, so we can
the horn, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's it. So we can watch Stephen A. walk into the arena for a Knicks game with his outfit and get a whole fit check on Stephen A. But we miss Zach Lowe's 10 things I like and don't like columns every Friday. Yeah, really worth the investment.
It's absurd. It really is. And what it comes down to is the social media driven world we live in. That's
of course,
all it is. All right, back over to the games. What do you say here? And let's talk some big picture stuff. Actually, you know what? Before we get into the big picture about Oklahoma City, just real quick on this one, because they are in action tonight. Let's talk about the Rockets and Pelicans. Zion's back in action as well, but the Rockets are 4.5-point favorites here. Rockets currently are the 5 seed. Yes, 5 seed, 37-25. So we need to be talking about them a little bit more in front of the Warriors. Tonight, Sean Barnard, game being played in New Orleans. Where are you at in this one, sir?
I kind of like the Pelicans to make some noise here. Fred VanVleet, the only real notable injury, he re-injured that ankle, which is a huge bummer. And I really do think that's more harmful than people have let on. The biggest doubt that I have about this Rockets team is really how that offense clicks in the final stretch when it is crunch time possessions. And I don't want to undersell how excellent Zion Williamson has been since he came back. Now, granted, this organization has him on a short leash right now, that it's minutes limits. They're making sure for two different reasons. Obviously, his health, number one, which has been the story of Zion since he came in the league. And obviously, number two, it is those lottery odds that they're not in the business of winning games, but players don't tank. Organizations tank. And I still think this team wants to compete. I still think Zion has a little bit of hunger. That some of the play that I've seen from him in recent games has been like the hungriest I've seen from him in a basketball court in years at this point. So I do think that plays against this Rockets team, and on a team that is built on athleticism, and really that's kind of the calling card for the Rockets. Zion still has them beat in that category. So I kind of like the Pelicans. I got a sneaking suspicion that they could win outright tonight on plus 140.
Ooh, a little money line action on the dog. Sam Oshtry, the dog barking for you?
It is. I'm with Sean on this one. I like the Pelicans tonight as well. And what Zion's doing is exactly what the Pelicans want him to do. Obviously, if he's good, they're winning games. It hurts their draft stock, sure. But what the Pelicans want right now from Zion is him to perform at the highest level possible to get his trade value up. Because you have to consider, and they will consider come off season, looking at trading Zion Williamson, because you just can't build around this guy who is never available, never healthy anymore. But how he's finishing the season matters. And when you're seeing him at healthy and see how productive he is and how good he is, and we really saw that last year when he played 70 games, the most of his career by far, and he averaged 23 and 5 and 5. Like that was impressive season from Zion, but we know he can't sustain that just from a health perspective. So he needs to play as well as possible for the Pelicans to increase his trade value and look at getting rid of him and not starting over, but I don't trying to figure out an out on this Zion Williamson situation. But Sean, real quick, where are you on the Rockets? Are you in on the Rockets or out on the Rockets?
I like them. I respect that they're really seeing out the vision. I don't think they're good enough to make like a legitimate noise this year. They're going to be a tough out, whoever plays them. But I really do have doubts about that team in like crunch time offense. Like, who is the guy there? Jalen Green, probably the number one option. I just have my doubts about that. I think when the dust settles for actually like thinking about the hierarchy of the organization, that Amin Thompson is going to be like the number one guy. But in the short term for this specific season, I don't really see it happening. But with that being said, like I support the vision of them like having this team go through the process and, you know, seeing things out on the proper timeline.
Funny story. When I was in Greece, I played pickup one day, one like evening. There was a court nearby some tourist attraction. I was like, all right, like I'm going to grab my shoes. I'm going to play pickup. So I played pickup with all these Greek guys. They were talking Greek the entire time. So, I mean, I was hooping. So I hope they weren't talking smack. I don't think they were, but they said Americano. And I was like, yeah, I was cooking you guys. But after this guy comes up to me, asks where I'm from, Philadelphia. He said he actually called. I think I commented on your guys' stream later that night. He commented, or he told me, "Oh, Philadelphia Sixers fan." I was like, "Oh yeah, I like them." And he was like, "I hate Joel Embiid. He's a douchebag. He doesn't play back to backs." He was going in on Joel. And then I said, "Oh, who's your favorite player?" And he said, Amen Thompson. And I was like, all right, this guy knows ball. If you're saying that's your favorite player. So we ended up talking for like another hour just about hoops. And he really understood everything that was going on with the NBA. I was like, how do you watch this stuff? It's like these games are on at 2, 3 a.m. He's like, sure. The next day I watch the highlights. I follow the coverage, all this. But it was a funny story. But all that to say is I promise you the Rockets aren't winning a first round series. They will be the number one fade for me in the first round. I don't care if they play the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, who they're slated to play right now.
Good roster. VanVleet's good.
Thing.
Brooks has got a role.
Here's the thing. There's no precedent for teams with pretty much no playoff experience when your best players have no playoff experience
coach
to make a run. No precedent for it. Like going back to the Warriors days, those early Warriors days before they blew up. Steph Curry, Clay, Draymond, those guys were all the most of those years, they were first and second round exits. Go back to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have won one playoff series since Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane and John Morant exploded to the scene. Thunder last year, similar trajectory to the Rockets where The Thunder didn't make the playoffs the year before. Then they make the playoffs. Obviously, they were the one seed, had a better regular season, win a playoff series, and then flame out because you have no playoff experience. Now, the Rockets didn't make the playoffs last year, and they're having a great regular season. Their team's mostly built on defense. But with no playoff experience, there's no precedent for going on a playoff run. And on top of that, to Sean's point, those early Warriors teams had Steph. Those Grizzlies teams had Ja. The Thunder last year had Shea. All those guys are at least great on-ball creators. The Rockets do not have that at all. Alperen Sengun is a really good hub, but he's not the level of Jokic or Embiid when he's healthy, where he can create a shot for himself or someone every time down the floor. Jalen Green, incredibly inefficient. Fred VanVleet, yes, he's won a championship. He's not having a great season. I don't trust him with the ball in his hands late. Jabari Smith, Amen Thompson, all these guys are so young, and there's just no precedent for making a run. So when the playoffs come around, I don't care who they're playing. I am taking the other. They'll be favored. Hopefully, it's like a -150, but I'm fading the Rockets.
All right.
And their team, I fully expect to be like at the forefront of when this next star demands out, whether it's Kevin Durant or Zion Williamson or whoever, that they put together a really appealing package. And I think that's the next step for them. But like to that same point, a little different way to put this. I've made the same case when talking about the Pacers in the Eastern Conference here. But looking at the Rockets, name a playoff series in the first round that they'll have the best player on the court. I really don't see a world where that happens, and that matters to an extent. So I agree. I don't see the outlook for this Rockets team, but like I still kind of agree with the organization to let this team take its lumps and go on that timeline. We've seen plenty of organizations make the mistake where they go all in too soon, the Sixers being one of them here, that they are doing it according to their plan. So I do respect that.
All right. We'll close up shop on this one. Big picture conversation. Sean Barnard, Sam Oshtry hanging with me. Sean, I'll start with you on this one because Oklahoma City Thunder are favored, and I know SGA has been balling. He had 40-plus points last night. He scored 54 times in the last 19 games, 20 games. He's just been incredible, but they're priced at -130 to represent the West in the NBA Finals. If there is a team that does get them, what is their biggest flaw? Why would be the reason that the Oklahoma City Thunder do slip up and lose in the playoffs this year, if it was to happen in your mind?
For me, it's probably the lack of the secondary creator there. That Jalen Williams is awesome. I don't know if he's quite like the second guy on a championship caliber team. I have optimism that Chet Holmgren can be that guy in the long haul, but he's been bothered by injuries this year and really hasn't been the best version of himself too consistently there. Probably the most alarming or clear evidence of this, I would point to the sort of meltdown against the Timberwolves. I believe it was an 18-point come from behind win by the Timberwolves in the final 4 minutes there. That was one where I thought those options really showed up, where they limited what Shea can do and then lived and died with the 3-point looks for the other guys. Now, granted, they have the Cason Wallaces, the Alex Carusos, the Isaiah Joes. They have guys that can hit those shots, but on that night, it didn't happen. And that's something that can absolutely come into play in the playoffs as well. So I have a little bit of skepticism in Jalen Williams being that second guy on like a championship caliber team. And I do think there's a world where their crunch time offense just isn't quite good enough when it gets to that stage of the playoffs.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's Jalen Williams. First, I'll say I don't really see any scenario where the Thunder aren't in the finals.
Really?
I'm all in on this team. They are so locked in defensively, and you have one of the best players in the league. It's the exact formula you need to make a championship run. And look, they dominate the possession battle. Like they're number one in turnover percentage in the NBA and number one in opponent turnover percentage in the NBA, which means they never turn the ball over and force turnovers. If you can control the possession battle, which really matters in the playoffs, you are going to have success. And that's what this team does. They just turn on another gear defensively in a lot of these second halves and fourth quarters that you watch. And they have a good enough depth and good enough offense to overcome any lulls that they might experience. But the one thing is exactly what Sean said. You're going to need Jalen Williams to show up. And he was a big reason why they lost in that playoff series against the Mavs last year. He can't have games where he's scoring 12 or 14 or 16 points, which he did a bunch in that Mavs series. And he shot 42% from the field. That inefficiency and that lack of production offensively can't happen. They're going to throw everything at Shea. These best teams, they're going to blitz him. They're going to build a shell around him. Jalen Williams has to be better. And look, that was his first playoff experience. So you kind of expect that. Like I said earlier, you need playoff experience. You need to go through playoff scars to eventually make a run. All the champions, all the best teams have done it. So I think that was actually a good thing that Jalen Williams struggled last year. But if they somehow lose, it will be because Jalen Williams is inefficient and isn't as productive, and they're just the opponent is building a shell around Shea, and he can't do everything himself. So that's the only flaw. I'm right there with Sean that they could possibly go down, but I don't really see that happening. I think the Thunder roll, to the finals.
All right. Look, great discussion across the board. We got a bunch of action coming our way this evening, not counting the Philadelphia 76ers in the word action, but they are taking the floor up there at Boston, 13.5-point dogs. We'll continue to keep our eyes on the 76ers over the next couple of weeks, as it is all about the upcoming NBA draft. Final thoughts before we get out of here. Anything you want to get off your chest, Sean Barnard, about the association, sir?
Let me think. Nothing really jumped to mind. Was there some Chargers love going on in this station earlier? Did I see that come across the timeline? What's going on there?
Well, I would just say, from the standpoint of what Harbaugh was able to get in year one, remember they moved off of a couple big names, especially on the offensive side. Now they're clearing up $25 million. I just feel like they're putting it together. Now, is Justin Herbert the guy? I don't know. I like Justin Herbert, but
See,
clearly,
I do know the answer to that one. Is the thing is, if we're talking about the same Justin Herbert, it is the guy.
Wait a minute. Think about how many teams out there are dying for quarterback play. You mean to tell me that you don't think the Giants would give up anything and everything for Justin Herbert? They just
I'm sure they would, but I wouldn't use the Giants as your model for how a good organization runs there.
Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Justin Herbert?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, stop it.
Well, I did my quarterback rankings a week ago. He showed up 28th on my list. It's just what the numbers tell me.
Who was just ahead of him? Who was 26 and 7?
I believe. Let me grab my notebook real quick.
Well, what we were saying real quick is we can't have a Chargers Justin Herbert discussion without you in our head.
Yeah,
like you own all of the Chargers real estate.
That was the issue. And I do believe in Jim Harbaugh. He has proven me wrong. He proved me wrong last year. I didn't think that they were going to have anywhere close this season that they did. And I'm interested to see what they do in this free agency.
I had him right behind Anthony Richardson on my quarterback.
Hey, you're committing.
Yeah, commit to the bit.
Yeah.
I love it. Nice work by Sean Barnard there. Make sure you follow him on all things socials. And, of course, read him over at dknetwork.com. Over to you, Sam Oshtry. Final thoughts.
I don't have any. Sean, are you still a LaMelo Ball guy?
I mean, I like LaMelo. I would say I'm probably more net positive than most. I don't see a world in which things turn around in Charlotte. And I did see the funny report from Michael Scotto about him, wanting to play in a more winning environment. Like, dude, you are the environment here.
Yeah,
but I see a world. This will be my LaMelo take. I do see a world where he goes to a new organization and can be a winning player. I don't see it ever happening in Charlotte, and he definitely has to make some adjustments in his play. But I am a LaMelo optimist. I would put it that way.
And I am a pessimist, but we'll continue this conversation next week.
Me too.
Swerving off of LaMelo.
Yeah, way pessimistic.
In that corner, well.
Yeah, that's it. All right, great stuff across the board. Once again, picks and roll. And if you missed anything, you can find it over at foxphlgambler.com. Everybody enjoy the games this evening. Coming up next, we're going to get it on over to the world of golf with Swing It and Ding It. Moose Mays and the great Danielle talking about the Arnold Palmer Invitational that's going off and catching up on everything locally here in Philadelphia golf. And then at 7 o'clock, bending the edge, not bending the corner. No. Whoa, we're bending the edge with Ryan Beef Coyle and Nick Lettuce McClay. That's coming your way at 7 p.m. We will be live tomorrow from the Philly Show. That's right, phillyshow.com. Get your tickets. Get on out there, whether you have kids, or you're a fan of the collectibles, or you just want to take it back to your childhood. The Philly Show is the place to be. Trust me when I tell you that. And last but not least, we are offering a giveaway. We do have a giveaway up on our socials right now on Instagram, courtesy of the fine folks over at the Philly Show. We are giving away right now an autographed Shady McCoy helmet. All you got to do is follow us on Instagram, tag 3 friends, and bing, bang, boom. We're calling our winner tomorrow when we go live at the Philly Show at 3 p.m. And it could be you. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you. Peace.
Save 30% on weight loss meds right now.
Try FH.com.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total.